We would be honored if you would join us.
You sure you want to stay? This is the way.
This is where the fun begins.
Dark side of the Force is a power.
I'm not sure what's going on.
I thought that was me.
It was
yeah. Did it like freeze on people?
Yeah,
It went gray for both of us.
I thought I lost interwebs.
I know. We were all like, "Holy sh!"
Okay.
I had a bad feeling about this.
I know. I was gonna say I had a bad feeling about it, but anyway, welcome everyone to another episode of the Sithcast podcast, a Star Wars podcast where we pretty much talk anything and everything Star Wars. Welcome back, everyone. I just want to say, really, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to us. I know there are a lot of like Star Wars podcasts, shows out there. So I really appreciate you guys. Like I said, taking time out of your day to listen to us. So, with that being said, let's actually get straight into our episode. First, I want to introduce our guests, our special guests for tonight. We got the Bowmans, Ben and Robin.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Ben, Robin, thank you for hopping on the stream tonight. It's going to be a really, really special and spicy one because we got a really spicy topic tonight, which I am excited to get into a little bit later in the show. But let's get to know you, and then we'll introduce the rest of our panel. So, okay. Ben and Robin, top three. Actually, we'll start off with Ben. Top three Star Wars movies of all time.
Rogue One is my absolute favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know everyone usually says Empire, but I think ever since I was a kid, I always preferred Return of the Jedi because better space battles and biker scouts. So I think that actually has to knock Empire to number 3 for me, which I know is controversial. I guess.
Blasphemy.
Yeah. So
how dare you?
Well, I think ever since there were things in Empire that, like the cave scene with Luke confronting himself as Vader. There were things that I didn't either understand or I don't think scary, but I think for me, a movie I could start over and watch the most was Return of the Jedi.
Okay, cool.
I think definitely Rogue One is number 1.
Yes.
But then A New Hope and Return of the Jedi.
Whoa.
I end up watching those the most, like over and over and over.
No
Where's
Empire.
I do. Well, I'll watch all 3 together. Like I'll clean the house and just
we watch
all 3.
almost every week, at least 1 or 2 of the original trilogy. But we also we watch a lot of the making of. Different,
I like that.
And that's the one thing that I find lacking in the Disney Plus content is all of the extra features. So we're constantly pulling the Blu-ray disc down so we can watch all of the extra content, because that for me has always been, and I love, so I'm a photographer, I love film. So for me, seeing even just everything from the rigs, the lenses, all the behind the scenes stuff, and then of course everything that makes Star Wars so special, which is props, set deck. Just there's nothing not to like in all the bonus footage.
Yeah, and then what's crazy, like as a collector, now when I go back and watch the movies, I'm looking at the set dressings, I'm looking at the costumes. Like I've seen the movie a billion times and I can recite it word for word. So it's like, okay, what else could I learn from this? So
I didn't grow up with the original trilogy, so that's why I started to love it, was all the costumes and the props and the creatures and that.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, so let's get to know you a little bit more than past just the movies.
Okay.
You guys, we also love collecting Star Wars products. So, is there any particular, like scale or things that you guys are focusing on
Yeah.
in terms of your Star Wars collecting?
I think thanks to the costuming that we do, we go for the 1-to-1 scale, but
Mhm.
we ended up wanting to do blasters and hilts and all that, but now I've just barely started on it, but I'm going to get into the studio scale and all that.
Yeah.
I did many years ago. I showed Scott some photos a couple days ago. About 15 years or so ago, I did some German and British armored vehicles, World War II armored vehicles. So I have
Really?
some
That's
background. I was never amazing, I don't think, but actually I think it was pretty good. So I'd like to get into it now that I've been getting all the Iwata airbrushes and all the equipment. I'm wanting to really work on some of the models with Robin, and I would like to have an interest in Imperial armor because obviously it's so close to what I loved before, which is paint chipping and weathering of like armored vehicles. So AT-AT, Scout Walkers, and then also things like TIE fighters, of course.
Yeah, the vehicles.
Wow, that's awesome. Do you
right
guys?
Now we have a lot of blasters, lightsabers.
We have
wanting
a
to
few
get more helmets. I have the Shore Trooper helmet back there from Anovos.
We don't have that many things, if you numbered all of them, but we want everything.
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? That's that's the thing is that like less is more, and I'm coming into my collecting right now where I'm realizing like, damn, I got a problem. I got some issues here. Like, I'm picking up everything I could or can for in terms of Star Wars, but I'm realizing to myself like, yeah, like I think it's better to kind of like have like a focus or kind of like have a I don't know, like a goal in terms of your Star Wars collecting, like how you want your collection to look like. And I know it's ever growing, but
Yeah, we also have still all of my vintage Kenner toys from when I was a kid. So it's not like we don't have much to collect. It's just those things I don't really typically count because I don't display them. I know a lot of people do, but I'm kind of going more for the aesthetic of like an Imperial officer, what he might put in his office. So almost more like trophies from a bygone era. So, the lightsabers, hilts, blasters. I want to get a lot more, and also helmets. I want to get, all of the buckets, all the stormtroopers,
Yeah.
We want it all. We want it all.
Yes.
We do. And we want it now.
And I think a bit more picky because it will be out in the main of the house.
Yeah.
We don't have very many rooms like you guys. Most of our house is just one giant room because we live in a loft. So I have a photo studio like right here. The only room separate is like a pantry, my office, the bathrooms, and the bedroom over there. So most everything out here, dining room, kitchen, it's a huge area that's all wide open. So we have to be careful. Clutter gets to be a problem really quick.
But Ben, the best thing for you is you got a wife that loves Star Wars, and she's like, let's do it. Like,
yeah. We just don't want to have like photo clients be like, what is this? And it's like stuffed animals and stuff. Like, I have to be careful. Like, it can be in my office.
Well, she starts getting some things like she was like, everyone has all of the vinyl, the pop vinyl. So she's like, I'm gonna get a couple of those, and she got a few, and then she enjoyed them, but she's like, I think I want to get rid of those and go ahead and get like another prop or two. So my office looks like your office.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I wish my wife could say that, but unfortunately she collects sneakers and bags, and I collect the other
bags.
Yeah, no, trust me. Oh my god.
Okay, so I actually have more shoes than Robin, and she has more bags than me, but I have lots of backpacks and messenger bags. But no, she's really good.
Oh yeah, no, it's my wife is not good. She's I'm telling you, she's big sneakerhead, and then on top of that, she loves bags. But you know what? I feed her collection, so I could feed my collection.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and Scott's lucky
happy
too.
wife, happy life.
Yeah,
Well,
his
Scott's
wife's
Scott's
in
got
the
the
Star
best
Wars
situation
too.
because it's like, hey, babe, I want to pick this up, and then you're like, yeah, pick it up. And I'm like,
Oh, she's totally into it. Totally
Yeah.
into it.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Robin
when can
is.
we buy this? When can we buy that? And he'll be like, all right, wait a little bit, and then we get this. And
Yeah, that's
all right,
it.
cool. All right, we'll get back to you guys, the Bowmans. We're gonna actually go back to Scott Barry. Scott, thank you for hopping on the show again. Usual
Absolutely.
suspect. Did you watch yesterday's stream? Because
I got through most of it. Marcel hit it up there. What's that guy's name? He plays piano. I can't remember his name.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
he's
you.
gonna kill me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's gonna kill me. It was a long day. So I was like, I felt so bad. I was like, I was telling Sean, I'm like, oh my gosh, Scott Lake's gonna kill me, and on top of that, he's like a regular on the show. How could I forget his name?
Good, man.
Yeah, because at first when you were saying it, I didn't know that you were talking about Scott, and I'm sitting there going, "Who the hell is he talking about?" I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, Scott.
Then he goes, plays piano, and you're like, Scott Barry, and he's like, yeah, Scott Barry. Yeah.
Robin and I have talked about this last week. It's trying to remember everyone because everyone has a different username on YouTube that they comment on, and then different names on Facebook, and then heaven forbid you have an Etsy store and an Instagram.
I keep it pretty simple.
Yeah. My last name's K-Car, so that name's been butchered my whole life. And then I was like, Kakar, Kesar, all kinds of stuff. So I was just like, I want a cool Star Wars name.
Kakar.
What's the origin?
It's like Slovak.
Okay.
But so it's like, it's how you pronounce it. Like we've always pronounced it K-Car, like the Chrysler. So it was like, but I figured a cool Star Wars name, and it caught on. So I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
So
that's how I was explaining it to my wife earlier. I'm like, Sean Kakar, it's Solo. Sean Solo. He'll be
yeah.
Sean Solo's easier.
Yeah.
But well, Scott, thank you for coming back on the show.
Absolutely.
And another person, obviously, I guys want to introduce you. Well, he needs no introduction. It's my co-host, Sean Solo.
Sean K-Car.
Sean K-Car.
Or whatever. Just Sean's good.
Yeah. So before we get into our recent pickups, let's address the chat. We got Eben the Collector here. What's up, Eben? Who else is here? We got Michelle, aka Glossy Bees,
Hey, Michelle.
who is doing an awesome. Let's shameless plug here. Shameless plug again.
Do it.
So I'm pulling up I'm not fast enough. There's too many clicks here. Hold on 1 second. All right. So she is doing our awesome exclusive Sitcast art print. Oh, I know. Oh my gosh. So I think she said that she's mailing mine out today or tomorrow. I forgot, but she said that it's on its way.
Yeah, I got tracking from her today.
Yeah. Nice. So I'm excited to get this piece in. I am not going to open it up until I don't know, maybe I'll open it up soon. But I just want to savor the moment because I'm getting the Mythos Vader, so I kind of want to do it together.
All right. Mm-hmm.
So, because if you look at the Mythos Vader, they got an unmatched portrait that looks exactly like this art print.
Do you have a hilt to display with it too?
Yeah, I have the Vader hilt from what's that called? From Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
So but yeah, no, I was also tempted to get a Darth Vader bust. Actually, I was telling Sean that earlier that I've been getting deals left and right with busts. So someone in the Facebook groups were selling the old school, I think the first Sideshow Vader bust. The one with the
Sebastian Shaw.
Sebastian Shaw for $800-900. So I was oh man, and it's only for pickup, and that person lives in New York. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so tempted. But
do you know anybody over there?
No, I live in New Jersey, so
He's
I
close,
could I could just drive. It's 45 minutes to an hour at most, but. Yeah, I don't know, but
so
anyway,
you could actually do it.
I could do it, but I just don't have the room. Like busts take up a lot of room. I already have the mall and the boba bust.
Well, it's like you guys said. I think it was like a couple days ago. If you buy it thinking, "Oh, I'll find a place for it," then you don't love it. You're going to sell it in 6 months.
It's true.
Yeah, and I really want that bust, but at the same time, there's like space is an issue. Like, you could someone could be like have all the money in the world, but it always comes down to the space, right? If you don't have the space to display your collectibles, why even get them in the first place? All right, like what's it going to do? Just sit in the box like the rest of your collecting life? So at that point, then it's just a waste of money, in my opinion. But all right, so thank you, Michelle. Again, if you guys are interested in picking up this art print, you can pick it up from her website. I'm gonna share that website in just.
I forget the number. Is it 17 or 27 pieces?
27. Yeah.
27.
Yeah, 27. I'm gonna cut and paste the link to her website down below, or in the live stream chat. We got Chris Elliott in the house. What's up, Chris?
What's up, Chris?
Hopping on the show. Who else is here? Marcel. What's up, Marcel? Thank you for hopping on the live stream
and reminding
tonight.
PJ.
I know who this person is that we have on the panel. What's this guy's name? The guy with the place
exactly.
RMD Collective. What's up, RMD? Thank you for hopping on. We got BMX Jedi.
Sean's neighbor.
User.
Yep.
If you love something, you'll find space by kicking something you don't like off. That's true too.
Or you keep things in a rotation. You pop it in, put that away, put that back up.
I do know someone though that does that. He's a big DC collector, and
like the Louvre.
Yeah, he has a storage unit, and he just rotates his collection every 3 months. But at the same time, it's dude, that's a lot of money, and also if I said, if it's just being in your, I don't know, not being displayed, then.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that.
I rotate prints, art prints.
Because I said you rotate friends, but
yeah,
sometimes.
But
ever who's the cheapest
stay at home though. So.
Yeah, ever who's the cheapest that week. I gotta pay for friends.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Prince is not bad though, because you can just have a nice little portfolio, and you can rotate them pretty easily. It doesn't take up a lot of room.
Right.
Well, it's like Jeff Sage has the digital, thing. So he just rotates it through. I'll put this up today. I'll put that up tomorrow. He doesn't have to take it down. He just,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
they're expensive,
really cool.
But they're really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so it's time for our Star Wars bounty pickups. We'll go to the Bowman's, Boscars. Any recent Star Wars bounty pickups that you guys might have in the past?
So we were on the show with Eben, and he is now nicknamed Eben the Enabler. So
it was Eben the Creator for a little while.
Yes, for a moment, because
he couldn't remember his actual.
I kept confusing creator with collector. So sorry.
I was like, Eben, you're a god.
But not that keyboard guy. I
no.
got Scott. So
Stevie Wonder. What?
Yeah.
So we were on the show, and one of the things they were talking about is what do you want? And I've been telling him we've been wanting for a while to get a thermal detonator from Roman. And I told him I was wanting that.
Oh my! I can't.
Dude, I'm getting that.
But I also told him.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Okay, I have to do it in front of our faces so it'll focus. There you go. So I told him we were wanting that, but that we were also needing to get a new camera, and I was just delaying it. So right after the show, Eben generously ordered us the clean version, but during the show, he convinced us that, man, maybe we should get the
weathered one.
So I ordered for myself the weathered.
Holy crap,
dude!
And on the same day, 2 days ago, the clean came and the weathered came. So I'm going to show you so you can see them side by side.
So you're going to sell me the clean one at discount?
No, well, so what the
thing is? the weathered one looks so
No,
good.
it means the clean
Yeah.
one will be the one that stays forever and ever.
I actually like the clean one. So I know a lot
Oh,
of people
really?
say the weathered, but what's so funny, I really wanted both and it worked out so awesome. So I'm going to do the clean as a display with my Biker Scout bucket because it looked much cleaner in Mandalorian. So that will save the weathered for Robin. One of the things she would really like to get is we want to get the Bausch helmet when RS
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So they'll be on 2 different displays.
Nice.
So we got that, and at the same time, we also ordered a 3-pack because you can't have one. Our first Regal robot purchase. So we got the grav charges.
Oh
Nice.
yes.
Nice.
We have to wait for it to. There you
There it
go.
goes.
Damn, look
So
at that.
We got a set of the grav charges.
Look at the back too. I didn't even know the back had detail to them.
Yeah, the back is so it was photographed extremely well on the product image. I didn't read the description at first. I actually thought it was hand painted and weathered on the back. It is a decal on the back, but it does say that in the description. I just didn't realize that because there was no reflection in the photo. I think it was actually a comp for the product photo, but I'm still really, really happy with it.
Well, because they're magnets. You're going to put it on a refrigerator or on something. I've got them on the front of a shelf. I just drove 2 screws in the front and just popped them, and they go.
Well, here's the thing too.
I've had something in the works that I've been wanting to do a stand for them, so I finally got them. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to tinker around with it. So this gives me something to play with over the next month or so.
Trying to stop being lazy and make more stuff, but he makes stuff all the time, so it's all right.
Well, here's the thing. Here's my question: is it like accurate? Like, is it screen accurate? I mean, minus the little sticker, like at least the front side, right?
I believe so.
I really didn't look into that. We just kind of got them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to go back and check and get some screen grabs of the 4K version of Mando because I think the scene where he's on the I guess it would be episode 1 of the 2nd season. I think you see it for a moment when he's on Moff Gideon's TIE fighter. So I'll have to go back and see, but I assume that this was actually photographed from the screen used asset, and probably that's where
it probably is. But Benjamin, I would say don't do it.
Don't do what?
Because if you notice something that's off or different, it's going to drive you insane. That's what it does to me. It's not, I'm like, oh, this is really cool, and then I start to notice something, and I'm like, damn it.
But knowing me, if I find out that there is something different, then I might actually
change
3D model something, and instead of a sticker, maybe I would actually replace it with something that actually has raised texture, and then I could hand paint it and weather it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like we have other things to do. I mean, you'll never get around to like doing the phone cases and stuff, but maybe.
No, the reason why I asked because I'm actually like Mando building a pre-Beskar Mando, and I want to buy. Yeah, no one really knows that. I actually kind of put a halt to it because I do know
somebody that you can reach out to for soft goods. So
is it
Dark Side Closet?
Yeah,
so he's been in Florida, and our first big con last year, end of the year, like was it September?
It was August. We tripped with him.
Yeah.
He came up from.
So I was like, wait a minute, I thought you were in Florida, and he said, well, I just moved to South Texas. Where was it?
South Padre or something.
It wasn't South Padre. I can't remember, but he's South Texas. Now, Texas is huge, don't forget. But anyway, he drove up for one of our cons, and we stayed in touch. He's really, really cool. But I got to see all of his equipment and gear, all of his soft goods firsthand, which really sold me on it. So if you need anything, I would.
Oh, no, I actually have an order with him.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like trying to like. So here's the thing: is like I cosplayed a little bit as Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens. So
okay.
But it wasn't like So I actually like went to the premiere of The Force Awakens as Kylo Ren. I was able to go through get like Wicked armor. He was the one that like did my Kylo Ren helmet at the time, which it was good, but it wasn't like accurate. Like, because mind you, there was like, there wasn't a lot of like reference pictures or images because everything was through like the trailer and possible like concept art leaks on the
you're
interwebs.
constantly they're constantly updating it, remodeling, and tweaking as you get more reference.
Yeah, so
they did the same thing with the Shore Troopers for Rogue One. People wanted to go as the Shore Trooper, and then of course you're not as accurate until you get more and more information and reference. So.
Yeah. So, but I still cosplayed as Kylo Ren, and it was funny because I actually have a newspaper clipping of me in the premiere of The Force Awakens as Kylo Ren. But I love the fact that I was gonna say I love the fact that they in the newspaper clippings they also put my age. So nice. It was kind of like I was like okay, I'm 30, and then all my coworkers were like, wait, do you like Star Wars and you cosplay? I was like, oh man, I wanted to keep that a secret. So, but anyway, long story short, yeah. So, I am, Mando building my pre-Beskar Mando, and I was thinking about getting those grav charges to add to the belt.
I think they would fit and look good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, should I get them? I know there's some people out there. There's probably like.
I don't know how they would handle being dropped because I know that there's some makers that you can get them that kind of drop in there. So you might look at the options before you would buy these, because if they drop, I don't know if these would survive just because of,
they might you just break. Put a metal plate in that pouch and they ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
So
well, I was going to say,
it's just something to think about. Yeah,
it would be cool too. Like if I'm cosplaying as pre-Beskar Mando and I see like a fridge, and I'm like, "Whoa, pow!" Like or anything that's metal, like "Whoa, pow!" Like and I'll actually
because he makes that sound too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna even make that same sound effects.
You say that your workmates didn't know you cosplay. I have a suspicion they probably knew. You walking into the break room, kapow, and throwing things on the wall.
Oh, I bring my lightsaber to work and I start like, oh, you got mac and cheese? You're like, all right, no, I'm just kidding.
I think they knew before you.
They probably no, they did. Well, they always wondered why I always took off on May the 4th. So yeah, it's like this guy always takes off on May. It's Star Wars Day. Yeah. So all right,
Sean's one of us too, I think. In the chat, so he can't complain about that.
Yeah,
damn cosplayers.
But you know what it is too. Also, it can get pretty expensive, especially if you're trying to be like as movie accurate or screen accurate as possible.
It depends on the costume. So anything with armor, of course, is going to get expensive. But you can actually be, you can be an extremely accurate Imperial officer for $800 probably. But you can also be like an Imperial bridge crew, incredibly accurate for like $350. So there are some costumes you can get into and still be incredibly focused on the accuracy very affordably.
Sorry, is it okay if I share your profile pic?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
I think it's better to be under a helmet. That way you can make faces at people and they won't know.
Yeah, or if you need a break, because otherwise you're smiling and kids are like, "What's your rank?"
You're like badass. Don't get out of my way.
It's pretty high up there. Get out of the way.
Yeah,
I'm in charge. Yeah,
jerk.
I can definitely act the part of an Imperial officer and be a little bit of a jerk.
I thought you were gonna say douche, but okay.
Yeah, and get away with it. So
now, Benjamin, how long have you been in 501st? Has it been a while?
So I started with the Imperial Biker Scout. So that was my anniversary present from my wife for our 10-year anniversary. So that was just under, right about 2 years ago, right?
That's pretty awesome.
A year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, so it arrived a year and a half. We ordered it, and it did take a little longer to arrive. It was from RS Prop Masters. It took a little longer than the estimate, but it was well worth it. But that was my first foray. I had been wanting to be in the 501st forever, and I just kept putting it off because things come up, and it's always either camera or lens or something for work or business or something
or time.
Yeah. Well, no,
Because-
the time hasn't been the issue because we work mostly from home, so we're always looking
Okay.
for an opportunity to go do something.
Well, they only have you troop once a year, but when we got the scout, we were going out about every 3 weeks for a while.
Okay.
Because it was,
Wow.
Lately,
fun.
they just haven't had any events we've been really excited about. A couple of events we've been really wanting to go have gotten canceled or postponed because, so many different venues or events are concerned about,
the pandemic.
reoccurrences of pandemics. So,
Yeah,
my favorite event before I was even 501st is we always went to there's a garden, like a botanical gardens in the Metroplex, the DFW area, where they do Star Wars themed music. It's the symphony orchestra outdoors.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
It's amazing. And every time we went, we'd always see the 501st there and all the stormtroopers. And I'd always go up to them and say hi. And, they're always very nice and friendly, but, they're used to everybody coming up and saying, oh, I want to be a 501st too. They get that a lot. So I really did plan on being 501st, but unlike most, I was fully aware of the cost, the commitment, the requirements.
Yeah,
so it was a whole lot different when I was actually, okay, I want you guys to know I know what's involved. I'm actually joining. This is what I'm ordering. And it kind of, okay, well, now that we know that you're serious and you know what's expected and required.
Yeah, because I'm actually friends with he started the Carolina Garrison of the 501st, and like he ended up giving me one of the you probably can't see it. It's too white, but that's one of the
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember, what do you call them? The
challenge coins.
Challenge coin. That's the word. Yeah.
Here are a couple of hours. I will show you.
You have to.
So
I have to cover up our faces because otherwise it's going to see our faces.
Well,
there you go.
so just really quick, like just for the listeners and the viewers out there, what is a challenge coin?
So challenge coins have a background in the military. It's basically, it's very similar to like, it's something that you're awarded for a certain achievement. It's very similar to someone who quits drinking and they get a coin that's something they carry with them. There's also some things, I don't know all the history, but I know that there's things that if you don't have your coin with you, there's certain things you can be challenged on. And for instance, if someone in the group doesn't have their challenge coin, they can be challenged to pay for drinks. There's things like that. I don't know what all of the backgrounds are. So I know that's part of the history behind it.
The
But
501st will trade them at events, so you can order a batch of them, customized, and then you have people always asking for patches.
There'll be
things.
occasional limited runs, and I always bring certain things to trade with, and I've sent some of those things to you guys. And then that's how I got both of these. These were gifted to us on our first and second troop. So
nice,
really, really cool.
Yeah, he gave it to me because he's been trying to get me to join for years.
You
and,
should.
For me, I feel like it's the time,
Oh, you should. And please reach out to me about some of the options. You are going Imperial, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I would love to do Boba.
Oh, thank goodness. We're still friends. You're still a co-host.
But I would love to do Boba.
Well, even Boba is on the Imperial side.
Yeah. He's the expensive side too.
Yeah. Well, how about Mando?
5,000 to 6,000 for Boba. Mando, I don't think is as expensive because a lot of those options are 3D printed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no, but I'm a Mando. Is it like Imperial or
yeah. Mando, I think I can't remember for sure because I haven't seriously looked into it. But one of the like the pre-Beskar and the Beskar, one of them is I believe pre-Beskar is the only Imperial because his alliances were somewhat dark, and then once he went Beskar, I believe that costume, if I remember correctly, is only approved for Rebel Legion.
Yeah. Okay. You know what they say, once you go Beskar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should stick with Scout Trooper because I'm halfway there because I've got the RS bust and then the helmet.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, that's why I wanna put a full TK in the house from RS, but I'll get it in his size so that he could wear it.
Yeah.
If he wanted to.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Well, I was gonna ask you, and then so Ben, you have the Scout Trooper? You see, you had the Scout Trooper.
Yes.
And
so I have a Return of the Jedi Biker Scout.
Biker Scout
from RS Prop Masters.
And then
I'm working on a shore trooper, but honestly, I have a lot of it done, and I have some of the soft goods, the boots. I have the helmet. I'm probably going to sell the Anovos helmet and get a commission from Mr. Paul, who's Paul Prentice in the UK. He has done tremendous work for the community as far as accuracy for the most accurate shore trooper. He's even, he's gotten a lot more connections and even some behind the scenes photos that aren't public that he can model some things off of. So if you want to go shore trooper, he is the one to get the files from to 3D print.
We do have also hiding in the back above the TV. We have our Mando that we have sanded and not painted.
So
yet,
I have
so
the same for Mando. We have the Beskar helmet. The
that one's a
files
bit
from
scary to try and paint because it's all shiny. You don't want it to be.
Alumaster. Oh, is it Alumaster?
Alumaluster.
Yeah.
And I think it's about
I like that.
I think it's about $350 worth of paint. I think it wouldn't take all $350 worth, but if you want to use the correct paint, I think the smallest amount you can get, it's like a pint is like $350 or something. I can't remember, but it's expensive. It goes a long way.
Yeah.
There's some other options. I don't have any here in front of me, but I had a airbrushed resin 3D printed thermal detonator that is airbrushed with what's the
all clad chrome.
Yeah, all clad chrome.
Yeah.
So it's just not the screen accurate paint because they actually used Alumaluster.
It still works for some things, maybe a blaster, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when Sean Solo and I also did the training remotes from Trooper Trent. We had that mirror, that mirror pen. So on the plastic and doing the rims.
Spastics.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
There's a pen that
it is totally
Adam
chrome.
Savage has even recommended, and you get the refills, and he basically just uses the pen refills, but that's Spastics or.
Yeah, I think this is different. It's
one.
Totally chrome, shiny chrome. I mean, it's amazing to take something that's just plastic and it looks.
The all clad is amazing, very similar. So
yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, Ben. So you have the Scout Trooper, and then you also have the Imperial officers, right?
Yes.
So what we're seeing right now.
The Imperial officers we have.
Those are Wampa wear. I think if you
all
bought everything,
and all the metal is coming except for the belt boxes. Belt boxes are optional. Robin didn't think she'd like them. So I'm the only one who has belt boxes. But then after she's tried on some of mine for photos, she's like, I think I might like my own belt boxes for on occasion.
And I need to upgrade my rank bar, which I haven't done yet. But I have one from his cousin that I've been using.
So if you see in any photo where we're in the photo together, she's actually using her older one. And you can tell that the blue rank bar is just a little bit of an odd color of blue.
Yeah, it'll bug me over time to leave it.
So we're going to buy another rank bar to match mine, but a slight one lower rank, so we're not identical. But we got them.
What are you trying to say there, Ben?
Yeah, lower rank.
It usually goes off of a couple of things.
Well,
it's scale and proportions. So
no, I get it.
She has a smaller profile, but also usually they typically recommend in the 501st. It's not required; anybody can be any rank they want, but it usually looks better to adjust your rank based on your age. So
I don't think that was one of your points that you made when we were talking about it.
I'm like, man, we would have a ton of rank badges.
Yeah, right.
Well, I was gonna say, in that case,
and I have some people on occasion that
should be
joke,
Grand Admiral. That's good.
Yeah, I have some people that occasionally joke like, we have a beard, and I'm like, well, Cassian was a spy and wore an Imperial officer uniform as a disguise. Wouldn't be much of a disguise if facial hair would be obviously out of character.
I see more approval photos of guys with beards now, and I'm like, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I have to assume that if you're a higher rank, you probably can get by with a beard, whereas if you're a brand new cadet, you might not be able to pass. So that's my excuse anyway. So
yeah.
I was going to ask you.
Oh, sorry.
Really quick, Robin. So
Sure.
do you do so you just have the Imperial officer, correct? Okay.
Right.
I do want to do an armored costume. I think the one that would be appropriate for me, even though I would also like to do a shore, because that gets so much attention from everybody when you go out. It would be the from I forget which season of Mando where he's driving that juggernaut thing.
Yeah, the
and
juggernaut.
He switches into that army green getup. I think that would work because it's
the one with the episode with Bill Burr.
pants.
Yeah.
So it's the ICAT Imperial Combat Assault Tank Driver. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that and the Bo-Katan would work.
You got to do Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
I could see you as Bo-Katan.
I regret that in the middle of the pandemic when they dropped the
last summer or something.
the Bo-Katan with the signature plaque and painted by
Jackson Rupert.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hype myself for not getting it. So when somebody drops it, please let me know, and I need to buy
posted
that
it.
for her.
We'll do more, but
Well, you're looking for because I know someone that could make it, and that's Jason Props. I don't know if you guys know him.
okay.
So here I'll just kind of just share it real quick. So I actually got my my Mando helmet from him.
Oh, awesome!
So I actually do have the a Novos one.
We should have gotten in on that hyperdrive run. So
I think we
Me too.
Other stuff on our minds then, but
we've been upgrading a lot of equipment over the last year. So it's either been cameras, lenses, a lot of studio equipment. There were some expensive purchases, so we've been trying to get all of the new Star Wars stuff at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I want to get the Bausch helmet when ours drops. I'm
that's why
making sure I can afford that.
That's why she got the weathered thermal detonator, is because she definitely wants the Bausch, and she's so afraid that it might come at an inopportune time.
It always
she doesn't want to miss out on that, like we did the Bo-Katan.
Money, so there's some things I don't want to miss out on now. So
yeah, so he does like you can see, like he's done the gauntlets with the whistle birds. He's done like the full like Beskar armor. He's done the what's that called, the Bo-Katan, pretty much the whole. Yeah. So he's
it would be nice. Sorry.
Yeah, so definitely check him out. Like he's some of his helmets were like, these guys were the Mandos that were in the show.
I recognize him.
Yeah, so
it would be nice to get the helmet and the armor from the same person so that paint doesn't look different.
Yeah.
So if he may do all of it, but I'll have to see. I mean, we could always do it. But.
Yeah, I mean, this is a armor helmet by me.
It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
so she can pull that off. So she would like to do a Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
So I still want her to do a couple of the other ones also, but I think for her, the Bo-Katan would just be so fitting.
I think you can carry the helmet, so you don't always have to be like, you can't see anything.
Yeah. Well, here's my response.
Do it. Yeah. You just need the little headband that she would wear that blinks or whatever.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm not going to do a wig.
Robin has some requests. She would like to have. She loves armor, but she would like armor options that don't involve quite so much complete head-to-toe armor. So she loves the TK, but the idea of not being able to sit down, not being able to easily stop and go to the restroom at a con.
You have to have people strap you in and out of it, and it's. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that wear those, and it's really
so
hard
that is
to
the convenience with my Biker Scout, is I can sit down. It's also the convenience for the shore troopers, because I'm going for the squad leader, which has the comma instead of the armor on the sides. So I can
you just need a little flip up door in the back. There's kind of flip up.
Well, not only that, but also a lot of different costumes are like a one-piece jumpsuit. So even if you didn't have armor, it's difficult. So So she's looking at some options, and I think Bo-Katan is a really good option for her, but so is the ICAT.
Bausch, definitely.
Bausch would be awesome too. I haven't looked as much into all the Bausch options.
Looks like it's mostly soft goods, with the exception of the helmet and some stuff in the
Well,
front,
I mean,
right?
I'm also trying to pick stuff I love so that I can literally get a mannequin and put it.
Yeah, that's true. And then it could act as a statue, right? A 1-to-1 statue.
Or,
Yeah,
or
Clothes
box.
hanger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm telling myself. Eventually, I kind of want to do like Boba Fett from Empire, but dude, that's gonna be like you said, Ben,
It's about
5,000.
6,000 is what I usually hear.
Yeah.
If you want to do it as accurate as you want.
It's so
A couple
I'm
of the
like,
most expensive are a good Darth Vader and a good biker, not a biker scout, a good Darth Vader and a good
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. So those are like $6,000 each. Oh, and also a Death Trooper is about the same, about 5,000 to 6,000.
I think Sean Stone has a full size Death Trooper, or he is a Death Trooper. Yes, because I'm a Death Trooper.
TX and TA. I don't remember all of the different designations. So he might say in the chat in a minute which costumes. I think you're right. I think he is.
He does the AT-AT driver because he can sit down, and the Death Trooper because he couldn't. That's why he went to that.
I think the Death Trooper is DT. So, but I can't remember.
DT. All right. Well, that's our Star Wars bounty pickups for.
Well, it was a great show.
All right. So, but that's a lot. That's what I love about the show. So we get sidetrack and good conversation. So, all right, let's go to Scott Berry.
Yes,
Scott. Hey. Recent Star Wars bounty pickups.
Yes. I just had Sideshow C-3PO show up today, just before the show.
Nice.
Wow,
I went ahead and
nice.
I've been like, because it's the only C-3PO, you don't have a choice. So, 6 scale figure. I'm like, my R2 is a little lonely. And I just decided the other day, I'm like, I'm just going to do it, So that just showed up. I got some stuff in from Jeff's, which was one of the little tiny helmets missing, and the little gentle giant Jawas. They're like half bus. He was like selling them. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll take those. So I just got those in and unpacked those. This was one thing. Let's see if I can get this.
I love that.
Turn. Come on, baby, go. There it goes.
Oh, there you go.
Wait.
Oh, that's cool.
Where'd you get that?
This is a game piece.
Yes, I knew it.
Just
I didn't want to.
Yeah. So
Okay, I just
the thing
started
is,
looking into those.
the thing is with this one, this is the Spanish version. So it was like $40 versus the American version, which is $60, because I don't care about the game. I don't care if the games are in Spanish. I just throw that stuff out. I just want this.
Yeah.
So I've got this one and like a Star Destroyer and the Falcon and a bunch of the little X-Wings and TIE Fighters, and they just sit on top of my desk has a bridge before the monitor. They just sit right there and line up. I love the detail on them. The detail is fantastic with them.
So Robin, I haven't even told her, but I saw someone post today. I was like, what are those? Because he had like 40 of them in front of him on a table, and he was dressed as an Imperial officer.
I saw that. I didn't spend enough time to figure it out.
And he told me what it was, and I just looked it up. Somebody in the comments recommended that if you do order those, the best place to get them for the best price is Miniature Market, I believe.
Probably.
Oh, okay.
So if you haven't heard of this, that was just a couple hours ago. Somebody told me about that. So
I think I found them all on Amazon because when I discovered them, it's kind of after the fact. But yeah, I dig them. I dig them for the little, because I'm really into the vehicles. I'm really into the models. So,
I bet since they're also tied to the game and with game pieces, maybe extra things or open packaging, put one of anything you're interested in your cart. And then every day, if you get an alert that something in your cart is available as a warehouse deal. You don't care if it has open packaging. You honestly don't even care if it's missing the game components. You just want the figure.
Don't care. I just want the thing.
So-
You want the thing.
Exactly.
Well,
And my wife the other day found a 48-inch tall Vader. Right, it's kind of like a Jax, but a big one. And so she's like, should I do it? Should I do it? Because you're talking less than a cost of a hot toy, but it's still up there. And I'm like, I think it would be cool, So she goes ahead and do it. And then the person kind of goes and it gets canceled. So
no.
And then she finds another one that's like still got like stickers on it. Try me because it makes sound and does voices. But the thing's 4 feet tall, right?
Yeah.
Comes with a lightsaber, this whole thing. And she did it, and the guy comes back and says, all right, cool, I'll ship it out today. It's awesome. And then he kind of came back and he says, Yeah, he goes, I don't think we could do it because the shipping was going to be more than what she was paying for it.
Now, Scott, it's actually a lot cheaper than Hot Toys because you can't just get one Hot Toy. So
that's true. But I mean, this piece
turns into 10 Hot Toys. So
this piece was about $200, and apparently it was going to cost more to ship it than what she paid for it.
Yeah, so
that one got canceled. Yeah,
was
that a Mercari or?
Yeah, it was a Mercari. It's 4 foot Vader. Yeah.
That's what kind of happened to me when I was trying to sell my. I had a Hasbro TIE Fighter from the Force Awakens. It was like the big, huge, 6-inch. Well, not 6-inch, but it's like that scale TIE Fighter, and I got it for $50. I got it for $50, and then I'm like, man, I don't need this thing. And I was like, let me sell it. And then I tried to sell it, and then I sold it, and then I went to I think UPS to ship it, and they quoted me like $80. I'm like,
right? Because that one's big. Yeah, that one's big. I remember that in Target. I think it was going for like $92 when it first came out. Yeah, and it's like it stands. God, it's at least 26 inches tall, if not taller.
And it also costs a lot more if you pay at retail. To pay for shipping, whereas if you buy it, online. So
yeah. Scott's wife's like, hey, I want to get a 4 foot tall Darth Vader, and my wife's like, yeah, let's get new patio furniture. I'm like, no,
that's the difference.
We got to go Darth Vader. Like, come on.
I know.
Duh. I mean, come on. Yeah, exactly. No, that's why my wife is awesome. She's totally into it. She's totally supportive. I'm supportive of that stuff. Like I said, she's been totally into the Legos lately. Mm-hmm. She's working on her Falcon right now. Her Lego Falcon.
Nice.
Well, and even on vacations, Robin's starting to think about I think it's time to go back to Galaxy's Edge. I'm like, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, because you guys are middle, Orlando or California. Which way do you go?
I think we'd go to Orlando, and we also have so many friends in Orlando, and we've been meeting more on the podcast. So, I think
that makes sense.
Yeah,
there's people in California too, but I just love the big Florida park.
Yeah, whatever.
I've been going to the big.
But Evan's down there. George is not far away. All those guys. Yeah, absolutely. Plus whoever else you know.
Because I'll be down there in August.
Oh yeah. Oh.
We should have gone.
Well, good for you.
We've gone to Celebration though. We couldn't swing it, but there would have been enough.
I don't know if I'm going to celebrate. It's just I don't know. I'm still debating. I'm going ICCC next week, or I know it might be a little bit too late, but it's just like it's one of those things that when you go to these cons, it's not like okay, you paid like however much to get your ticket, and then your stay, and then all of a sudden like your food, and then
it's like do you buy 10 helmets or do you go somewhere? It's like
I think we said it on the last podcast, but I have a lot of air miles, so I run all my business expenses through a card, so I get air miles. So
nice.
It won't.
We can go see everybody else.
Yeah, so that's not the issue. It's just which side to go to. I am thinking that next time they do a celebration in like Orlando, that would be really tempting to go out there, stay with some friends for a week, go to Celebration, and at least spend 2 full days in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did.
Great vacation. So
that's what I did like the past couple celebrations, because the last one was in Chicago, so the flight out there was quick and cheap. There's one in Florida, in Orlando, like before that, and again the flight out there was cheap, and we got to make a vacation out of it, like go to Disney and kind of stay there for a week. But California, it's just like
do you have kids or just the wife?
Yeah. No, kids too. So we made a nice little Disney trip out of it.
So it does. You have to factor that in as far as planning and stuff. You have cost too. So
but it's also like I said, like it's one of those things. You get the hotel, you get the flight, but then it's like the food. The food in cons are expensive. You're paying like $8 for a hot dog. And then
it's ridiculous, and it's not that great.
Yeah, it's not that great. And then on top of that, like you're buying
I dress as a biker scout, and I put MREs in my front pouches.
So many.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're buying like stuff for yourself. T-shirts, prints. So it can add up. it could go from like 1,000.
It can add up real quick because you go there
yeah.
thinking, oh, if I see this, I'm going to buy that, or if I see that, I'm going to buy it, and then you see all this unexpected stuff, and you're like, I have to have that, I have to have that, and then you're like, how come I'm down $3,000 or $4,000?
Trust me, it could go pretty quick. So.
If we went, I would have to probably go as a Imperial officer. So I wouldn't want to go to an event like that in armor. It's just too cumbersome. It's great to interact with people, but then you miss out on the experience of really getting to enjoy what you're there for.
You want to be comfortable too.
Yeah. So the nice thing about the Imperial officer is, except for the fact that you're wearing equestrian boots, it's quite comfortable for the most part.
Breaking those things in was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Beat him on a rock. It's like...
Well, congratulations, Scott, for all your Star Wars bounty pickups.
That's exciting.
Let's go.
Even if it's little stuff like that, I mean, it's like you do what you can, you do what you like, and all that other stuff, and that's what makes me happy. So there it is. There.
Yeah. No, seriously. But all right, let's go, Scott. Sean. Sean, any
Scott, don't feel bad. He forgot my name too.
It's all S. It's the same.
Going for 2. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Sean, any? I know we just went on. We did a whole live stream on our Star Wars bounty pickups, but let's just go over it real quick.
Can I say something real quick?
Yo.
So what I did watch of the last show that you guys did, what was it, yesterday?
Yeah.
Sean's talking about, I got this little costume book, and the first thing I thought is exactly what came out of your mouth, Michelle, right?
Yep.
For the costumes. And then you're starting to flip through it, and then I see all the helmets, and I'm like, $27.
No, it's a great book.
Purchased.
Yeah,
so
man.
it's on its way, thanks to you.
Yeah,
so I just want to blame you for that.
You're welcome.
It's good enabling. It's only $27.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, I think it was more than that when I got it.
Yeah.
Because I think the MSRP is like 55. I think when I got it, it was like 35 or 40.
45 maybe.
So
I
if it's
really
down
want
to
the Chronicles.
27, I'd get it.
The Chronicles one. That one I really want.
Yeah, I have that one in my Amazon wish list.
Same here.
It's just I don't want to spend that much money on a book.
I'm almost ready to do it, but yeah,
that's like 200. Is that right?
Yeah, it's about 200. But what's sitting there?
But there's
is
two sizes. There's like a small one and a big one, right? Or a Japanese version.
I think the only one is the Japanese version, and it's hardcover. But everyone that's there is used, so it's ranked as in very good, okay.
And buying on Amazon, you don't have to worry if you're not happy, you can.
They have. I think they have one there that they're calling pristine or perfect, brand new, that they want $779 for.
And even then, one person's idea of perfect and pristine isn't.
Yeah,
necessarily.
It's somewhat subjective.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Very.
When you start seeing some water damage on the sides, you're like, no, I'm not paying $175, $190 for that. Sorry.
What gets me is almost every time I buy it. I mean, literally half the books I buy on Amazon, I have to return it and buy a second one, and then it's like, which one's like the lesser of two evils? Because they always put it in a big box with nothing in it, and the spine gets completely split on the way here.
Mm-hmm.
So the last
that's
time
actually
we
a great
got
idea, though.
Yeah,
to buy two and then just return one.
Well, I mean, I do it because I buy the first one, and it comes in damaged, so I buy a second one, and there's no reason to send back the first one until the new one comes in. Because sometimes, I've actually done it before where it's like, well, this one they did break the spine, but this one, even though they're both not perfect, this one at least the dust cover, and I'll swap it out to make one good one. Because they're both, sold by Amazon, so they don't care which, But the last time we drove to Dallas and said, look, enough of this. We drove to Dallas and we bought the Art of Mandalorian Season 2 in Dallas just because I'd already gotten one or two, and I was like, it's just not worth it. They were just completely ruined in the mail.
Yeah.
So,
but Sean, what besides the book?
Yeah, beside the awesome book, if you guys didn't see the stream yesterday, I got the 101 and got Bunker Bomb painted by Ben Huckabee.
Yeah, that's a sick one. Let me zoom in on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a badass piece, man. Yeah. I'm kind of regretting that.
Yeah, look at the rust on it though. It's like it focuses. But yeah, he just did a miraculous job on it. And like I said, we're talking about the magnet on the bottom. Stick it on the fridge.
And that's a
downstairs.
significant magnet. That's not a
that's a huge. That's like a freaking
climb walls with it.
I know.
It's like I just noticed your hat. Your hat's awesome.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, the Imperial hat. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was Amazon.
Is that from where? Like Heroes and Villains or
Busted Tees?
Busted Teeth. Yeah.
Speaking of heroes and villains, now this is another channel, but if you use the code Always Believe at checkout, you get 20% off heroes and villains.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So that's another channel, but yeah, just so you guys know.
I was thinking about wearing my Imperial Officer's hat for the show, but
you should.
It comes down and covers your eyes like this.
So. You should do it anyway. Just kidding. Yeah. But all right, so congratulations, Sean, on your Star Wars Bounty pickups. Again, mine, I have tons. I'll go over one, but so this humble. One is becoming my favorite piece. Like it's heavy, and I'm looking at the portrait of Ming-Na Wen. It's there. It's like the more I look at it, it's definitely there. It's a great piece. I
was looking at that when you're showing it. It was like, wow, that's more impressive than I thought it was. Because when you think 1/10, you think, detail is going to be okay. Yeah. You know, that thing looks really good.
No, they didn't skimp out on any of the details on this piece. Like it's the textures, the paint job, they really went all out. I just kind of wish it was like a quarter scale. But
you saw the MYC one with the kid sitting next to it, right?
Yeah, it's big, but
once you start getting into the bigger scale, I mean, like there's some awesome pieces, like Queen Studios. Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, it's what they have planned is like crazy.
I don't even know what they have planned. Are they getting into Star Wars or?
Yes.
Towards the end, they're trying to. But yeah, all I'm saying is that once they get the license, goodbye Hot Toys. Goodbye Hot Toys. I might pick up a Hot Toy here and there, but I'm focusing all like finances towards like Queen Studios. And I do want to mention that this print, thank you to our moderator on the Facebook group. This is going to be going up for sale tomorrow on Bottleneck Gallery. This is I guess similar to this print right here. So.
But the repaint.
Yeah, but it's just a repaint. Let me just. I lost the screen again. But yeah, I love Boba Fett. I love this armor. Actually, preferred this armor over the Book of Boba armor because it's super clean. I know, like I say it looks pretty tactical, and people laugh at me. Like, what does that mean? What I don't know. It just looks like he's like a soldier or like a spec ops.
I hated when they painted it pristine.
Yeah,
they let it. Yeah, and then the funny thing is like 3 episodes in, it was like 30% back to where it was, and the whole thing is it looked like he had never painted it in the original trilogy.
Well, yeah, obviously Boba is not a good painter, or using bad product.
Yeah, but I definitely will be setting my alarm at 11:55 to pick up this piece. So yeah,
do you know what the price is on that, or
not yet? I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe like $60-$70. It's usually around that price. So all right, let's get into this. Congratulations, number one, to everyone for their Star Wars Bounty pickups. Now it's down to our next segment, which is Star Wars news. So a couple things that I do want to talk about. The first one being that hold on, let me pull up the article. So apparently Hayden Christensen did some research for his role as Anakin, as Anakin in Kenobi.
Did he spend some time on a beach with sand to
he watched it in on the beach. He binge watched this what's that called, Rebels and Clone Wars in sand, basking in the sun. But anyway, so he binge watched all the animated shows to prepare himself for his role as Vader or Anakin in the Kenobi show. So we'll go to Benjamin and Robin. What's your thoughts on that? Like, like he's getting, I guess, more character development with that.
I did laugh when I heard that. I guess it was today, because he's getting ready to work, watching all those, and we're just like in our house watching those, binging them all the time. Like, I was kind of laughing at that.
Now, we've only watched the Clone Wars once. We hadn't watched it until, I guess, beginning of the pandemic. We watched the entire thing We blitzkrieged through the entire whatever was it 7 or 8 seasons?
7 seasons, yeah.
7 seasons.
Yeah, I'm watching them again, but
I didn't care for it at the beginning, which is what everybody says the first couple of seasons. I don't know if I agree with the way that they suggest breaking it up and jumping around. But you have that like chart where they recommend. But no, I mean, by the time it was done, especially in the last couple of seasons, I thought it was really good.
Truthfully, he probably will do a better job if he has been watching those.
We have to realize he's not the voice of the animated, so he probably didn't have as much of an understanding of everything that went on. So probably was a good idea, even if he had seen it. I've forgotten a lot of things, and we only watched it like a year and a half ago.
More references in from the animated, so it's probably.
But even if he had seen it before, I can understand wanting to watch it again to make sure you catch everything and.
It just builds more backstory for him to understand, like Anakin as the character, Anakin. So I think this is like a great idea,
and how he interacts with Ahsoka if she'll be playing a role. So I think
Ahsoka,
that is even stronger because there's no other live action interaction for.
Yeah, I just think that. Like that line, in my eyes, the Jedi are evil. Like that had more meaning to it when after you watch the Clone Wars seasons, because the Jedi effed them over. Excuse me, they really did fuck him over. I'm gonna curse.
Did you show?
Yeah, no, you know what? I was like, you know what it is? I pay for Buzzsprout, right? And then in Buzzsprout, it always asks me, is there any explicit content? And I'm like, wait a minute, there isn't any explicit content. Why do I keep on clicking this? So anyway, but yeah, no, I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell am I holding back for?
Dank Ferrick.
Yeah, Dank Ferrick. Well, no, but like, yeah, so yeah, there, it's one of those things that like the Jedi did like, screw him over. So I'm curious to see how he takes it. But let's go to, Scott. Scott, what's your thoughts on this news?
No, I think it's great that he's going back and studying, because the thing is that the Star Wars fans, most of us, have watched the Clone Wars and liked it, at least the last few seasons, right? We've followed all that. We've seen Rebels. We've seen that part. So not only from the prequels, that if people were following that chemistry there between him and Obi-Wan, but also Clone Wars, and to be able to bring that back history in, or at least know it and know how to act off of it, I think is really smart. I think he's doing his job well to study that and be ready for it. And the other thing too, isn't there the guy that voiced him in the Clone Wars, isn't he an actor as well that we've seen in other things?
Like live action?
He was in the Mando. He was the officer, the rebel officer that got killed in that heist.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
The bounty.
I knew he was a voice actor. I didn't realize that was the connection. That's who he played live action versus voicing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I think that's awesome. No, I think that's awesome to do that. What he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually just watched that episode a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. It's got all these like crazy,
I love Zero in there. I guess I didn't care for as much the Twi'leks as much. I didn't dislike them. I didn't dislike him. I just thought it was a little bit it was overacted, I thought. But Zero was awesome.
I just like the male Twi'leks are really ugly in Star Wars. Anyway,
kind of weird,
yeah, they're kind of weird looking, especially that male Twi'lek.
But not in Book of Boba. So I think it was just totally different in Mandalorian.
Because
there was a male and a female Twi'lek in Book of Boba.
That's the one that Clancy Brown was in, right? You guys know the actor Clancy Brown. I think he was in that too.
Yeah, the female like Twi'leks are always hot. Right? I don't know, Robin. Is there any like hot male Twi'leks out there? I don't know.
Kind of super gross. Yeah.
Sorry, Ben. Yeah. So she agrees.
They really shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, all right. Let's go to Sean. Sean, what's your thoughts on this news?
Oh, it's great. I mean, he really does need to go and watch all the animation just so he can get reference, which that's going to elevate his acting. which until he's going to connect with the Star Wars fans more, because like you said, we've all seen Clone Wars and Rebels, like, so here we go again, going in it with our expectations. This is kind of how he should act. So with him doing this research, it's just going to at least give him, like a pathway to kind of walk down. And then, like you said, he didn't voice it. So I think he'll just be in tune with Vader a little more. So yeah, it's definitely a great idea.
The body language. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of relationships that he built in the Clone Wars, right? Like with not only with Kenobi, with Mace, with Yoda, but also like like you see that progression of him just being like kicked down by the Jedi over and over and over again. So that might fuel his hate as Vader. Like what's his why is he motivated to kill all the Jedis in the in the galaxy? So but yeah, I'm really looking forward to the show. You guys know I'm a big Anakin Vader fan, so I think this is I want to see this version of Anakin in the big screen, not Lucas's version, like the complete version, because now you got the backstory from Rebels, from Clone Wars, and Revenge of the Sith, and the prequels, and now you got
we should be getting the full trailer soon. That'll be exciting.
Yeah. Hopefully in May the 4th, but I'm really all for for him doing this. I'm sorry.
Everyone have your Obi hilts ready for the first episode?
Yeah. Because even at the end of Sith, the last time we saw him, he was like, no, like he was just more devastated that he lost Padme. So now we get to see him, really, really build that anger up towards like why he lost her, and him just kind of losing his way totally to the dark side.
And that's suffering, right? Like what he did. To be honest, like I really hope he reads that second Vader run, the comic book run, written by Charles Soule, which I highly recommend people read. There is like some like graphic novels out there that you could pick up. If you're ever in Barnes and Nobles, or check it out on Amazon. It's a nice quick read, but it kind of gives you backstory like of Vader going from Revenge of the Sith, from that scene where he goes no. And it actually takes place right after that scene, and takes off from there. Nice. And you can see that he's struggling with his new suit and his powers, right? Because now his powers have been dumbed down, and he's relearning everything. Yeah. And on top of that, he's like building his own lightsaber and proving himself to the Emperor. So I really hope that Hayden was able to go and read those comic books or those graphic novels from written by Charles Soule. So anyway, another piece of news that I do want to share is that Liam Neeson is only interested in returning to Star Wars only on the big screen.
Only on the big screen.
Suddenly he likes talking about Star Wars, his role a lot. I think. Remember, we saw the same thing with Kenobi. He's when he was talking a lot, it was just all saying, "Oh, I would love to be in it. I'd love to be in it, but I'm not in it." And I think that might be the exact same thing here.
Yeah. Do you think he might not be in Kenobi, but they'll digitally put in a Force Ghost? I mean, I don't know the licensing issues or what he has.
Well, I think his likeness. He's going to get paid either way.
Right.
I mean, he'll get paid more if he's actually acting, but likeness is likeness. If you remember, that's there was a big payout. The one actor from Aliens that didn't go back for the third movie just to use his photo in a really low. Was it Hicks? In the beginning, of the third Alien movie, just to use that photo they talked about. I think that was actually said it was like a $50,000 usage fee, and it was just a small postage stamp size photo that they kind of made it look like a hologram. So and that was just for a split second.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna read you guys what he said in I guess an interview. He goes, So this is Liam Neeson saying talk about his I guess him coming back as Obi-Wan to a TV show. So he goes, "Oh, I think so. Yeah. I think so. If it was a film, yeah, I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to TV. I must admit. I just like the big screen, you know." After a pause, he started reminiscing about the Phantom Menace. He goes, Qui-Gon, I can't believe it's 24 years since we made Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. I just cannot believe where the time has gone. It was terrific experience shooting the film in London. So it just sounds like he doesn't want to.
It was fun. It was cool, but hey,
yeah, like he's kind of moving on from Qui-Gon.
I don't do TV.
Yeah, but it sounds like he's trying to throw people
He also
off.
said he has a particular set of skills that are just not well suited for TV. Probably.
So maybe what will happen is the Obi-Wan series starts on TV and then ends in a film.
Yeah,
They'll make you wait. They'll make you wait. So.
Yeah, I just think that like he might be trying to, because everyone's expecting him to show up as a Force ghost, in the deserts of Tatooine in front of like guiding Kenobi, or
if not
guiding
there,
Yoda.
I think the scenes with Obi in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I mean, we'd all be excited about
saying.
that.
That's
though,
what
even if
Jedi's saying.
even if that's where we see him, that's great.
Yeah, so I just think he's trying to throw people off.
I think so too. Because
I think because the fandom they do their research and they dissect like trailers, like
Yeah, how many times did Andrew Garfield say, "No, I'm not in the new Spider-Man"?
He was
Yeah.
a bad liar
And he's in
too.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's in Spider-Man. So, but yeah, no. I'm
Well, it's the same,
excited.
but the same thing with Ewan McGregor. He was so adamant that I'd be in it if they would just let me. I'm really interested.
Mhm.
And he said later, I was having to lie through my teeth the entire time. And he said I came off so pathetic because I kept saying I want to be in it, and people thought, okay, you just slow down. But he had already been cast the entire time. He just had to kind of put up that facade. So I think the fact that he's talking about it so much,
may mean that he's hinting. That
that he's like,
Mm-hmm.
hinting that he might be in there. I don't know. Like I just think that if he doesn't show up, I think it's a missed opportunity. Because you kind of have to explain like how did Kenobi know how to become a Force ghost, right? So
It just
that's
happens.
why. Oh yeah, he just like was like in Tatooine, and he's just like, oh, that's how you do it. Like he sees like a womp rat, like
cheat code
that's-
unlocked.
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, man, this show can't come soon enough, man. That's all I'm saying, man. It's just like one of those. I've been anticipating the show for like since like I guess
It was announced. Yeah.
Yeah. So
He moved it though, so he's actually working, and I'm not. So he like gets to sit in a car and like early.
I'm
in the
watching
morning.
it. I've watched everything live action. We stay up, and when the episode drops, we watch it. So I'm not.
This will be
on that.
2 episodes, and back to back.
So I'm thinking, with the fan backlash over Book of Back to Fett, I'm really thinking that they probably pushed a little bit and decided, let's drop 2 episodes because I am assuming that means that the first episode will be a little bit slower. And I also think that there's probably going to be something very epic dropped in the second episode. So they probably factored that in. Look, let's not let people sit and chat about it online for a whole week in between. Let's just give them the first and second episode, because by the time they get to the second episode, I think that their thoughts are it's going to disquiet any concerns over what might seem to be a slow start. So I think either Vader in the second episode or something big is going to. I think that's why.
I think that's a great theory, man. Yeah.
Well,
because Book of Boba Fett, that first episode, I was kind of like, huh?
So like the first 4 episodes, really, or the 3 episodes, and then
it was more like the Bad Batch was so it was lit. I don't know.
See, the Bad Batch, the first episode, the first episode of the Bad Batch was awesome.
Awesome.
And then the second one was like, huh? Okay.
Oh, the rest of the series,
filler. Okay, good episode, filler.
Yeah.
That's how it felt.
Well, here's the thing, with the Bad Batch, it wasn't headed by Filoni. I think he might have done something in terms of like creative process, meaning like where they should go. but he wasn't there like directing
he'll be
every
involved
episode.
in everything right now because he's got so many different things going on and how they'll all tie back. I mean, it's starting to feel a little bit more like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so, and they put so much thought into that. That's why I'm a little surprised with Book of Boba Fett, is because Disney has shown they're capable of playing the long game, end game, with what they've done with Marvel. So, yeah, I know that there's a lot of content they want to rush out, but with the way that they went, it even seemed like it was filmed completely different when they did Book of Boba Fett. And when they did jump back to the 2 episodes that were very heavily focused on Mandalorian,
they were.
It even seemed like it was filmed different. So I don't know if it was a different unit filming.
I always felt that they were getting bad backlash online, and they're like,
So they
you know
pulled
what,
a
we're
couple
already
of
done with the
episodes.
Mando stuff. Let's kick these 2 over there.
It's possible.
Well, I think honestly, people pulled apart Mando when it came out, and now looking back, we played both seasons of that over and over in the house, just hitting play. So I think those ended up being much better than we all originally thought. Maybe Boba just seems like it's still off, but
it didn't ruin the character for me, but it
well, hold that
is
thought.
what it
That
is.
that was going to be our like main going towards our main topic for tonight. So
jumping ahead.
it's okay. That's okay. But like I was gonna say, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff with Kenobi, and we're just waiting for it to drop. I know it's one of the most highly anticipated Star Wars shows of all time. So
I don't feel like that one will be bad. I really don't.
I think that they realize that's something they can't afford to drop the ball.
Yeah.
Not when you have.
It's too beloved of a character. I mean,
well, here's the thing, though. They did that with Luke Skywalker in a movie, so we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
But hopefully I learned a lesson with that.
I'm
one.
worried.
Well, okay. Let's piggyback on that
Scott
worry.
has become a force ball.
Yeah. Let's piggyback on that worry because here's
stop
the worry.
flipping that around. Now I'm worried about it.
Yes, I am a force ball.
So so here's the worry. There's been rumors that Disney might pull like a Book of Boba ordeal, right? Where the main story is not focusing on Kenobi, and the main focus is going to be on this character, this Sith Inquisitor, Reva. So supposedly she was
somewhere they even commented that no, it's not going to take over the season. Was that today? I saw that they commented on that.
Who said it? Oh, do you know?
I don't remember. It was on one of.
Was it like a Disney? It wasn't like Disney or anything, right?
It was. I think it was actually Star Wars Meg. I think that's the only thing I watched earlier today. So
Star Wars Meg. Yeah, I mean, like I know it's cool, but it's again, this is also rumors, so she might be right. Everything's like speculation right now.
I just had that playing while I was doing some other stuff, so I haven't looked into it. I don't know the sources, but
yeah.
I think that's the only thing I saw today. That's probably where I saw it, but
yeah. So it's all speculation. Everything like Star Wars Meg, Star Wars Theory, Star Wars whatever. Even us, Sitcast podcast.
Yep.
We're speculating. So the speculation right now,
accuracy and hope. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So the speculation is that like main focus is going to be Reva. It's going to be Kenobi trying to convert Reva back to a light side user or Jedi because she used to be a Jedi.
Palpatine.
Hopefully not, but so supposedly she was a Jedi, or she was taken away. She was taken away from her parents or like her family to be a Jedi, and then from Jedi she became a Sith Inquisitor, and then now she's hunting down the Jedi. Right, because she has all that hate towards the Jedi for taking her away from her family, and now Kenobi's trying to get to her and trying to convert her to be back to a light side person. Anyway, let's go to Scott Barry on this one. Scott, what's your thoughts on that? Like, do you think that it if this is it like the right move. If this is a true speculation that the main focus is going to be Riva.
I
Subconsciously,
don't know. Part of
maybe?
me wants to say I hope not.
Mhm.
But I mean, if anything's done well and you're captivated into it and it's good, you're gonna love it, right? But my first thought is like, you don't call the series Kenobi, and then it's basically doing the Book of Boba Fett, but let's do 2 episodes of Mandalorian. This would be more of that.
Mandalorian season 2.75. Right?
Yeah, if that's really what they're trying to do, or that's where the thought is, the main focus is her, then it should have been called something else. Is my first opinion, because I want to get a little bit more of that gap of Kenobi, of what was going on, and all the conflicts. Yeah, it's great, other characters and what's going on with them, but to be focused around it, no, I don't think I'd be happy with it. It'd have to be done really, really good to be happy with it.
Yeah. How about you guys, Ben and Robin?
I don't know. I mean, I know that they're supposed to actually do some episodes off planet, so it's not going to be the entire series about Tatooine. Supposedly, they're talking about him doing some side quests and getting called away to kind of lead the scent away from Luke on Tatooine also. Maybe even tying up with young Leia. So, I mean, we'll just have to see. Obviously, if they follow Obi-Wan to another planet, I think during that focus more on Obi-Wan.
I think I won't be that disappointed no matter what they do, because even though Boba was interesting, we enjoyed watching every episode of that.
We enjoyed it, but I do think that they missed a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could have spent more time on it.
They took a beloved character.
If they spend enough time on this one, whoever they follow around will be fine. So even if they focus on her, like that could be interesting. But as long as they don't.
But they've shown with Rogue One that it's awesome to see a whole new show about whole new characters. I'm all for that. It's my favorite movie.
Yeah.
But don't call it Kenobi and then let's see.
I mean, Mando did pretty good. They stayed on him, but it was the Baby Yoda show, so they still did better on that. So if they do it even similar to that, that's good.
Yeah,
I like Marcel's comment of his thoughts. You should read that.
Marcel says, "I'm thinking Vader is the big bad. She's the little bad. Obi-Wan turns her to the light, which upsets the big bad. Then, good night."
I just like to.
Great. No, that's I'm with Marcel. If that turns out to be like that, I will love the show. But let's go to Sean real quick, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts. Sean, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with Scott about, like, if it is good writing and it's captivating, we're all going to enjoy it. But honestly, deep down inside, I'll be bummed because it's called Kenobi. We did watch a trailer, and Kenobi's in 90% of the trailer.
Right.
We'll say 80%, but still, it's called Kenobi. And I mean, the writing could be fantastic, and we could be totally into this. But I think
he'll be in every episode, and I mean, because there were a couple episodes of Book of Boba Fett where there was like no word spoken from Boba Fett. I think he'll have more in every episode than the least amount that we saw Boba in his own show.
I think there's plenty of room to be disappointed, but it'll still be exciting to see it. So
it's hard to even think about it because we're all skeptical because of Book of Boba. And then hopefully Disney realizes that, and they know that this has to be a home run. I mean, I like parts of Book of Boba, but we all agree the writing was just kind of all over the place. So this will be a breath of fresh air if the writing's consistent and the story just maintains its course.
I think anything they give us is awesome, right? Just first and foremost, anything they give us is awesome. I will definitely watch it at least once, whatever it is. But I do agree with what Sean's saying, where I really hope that they kind of figured out, we can't do that with a known character. Let's make sure this one kills,
Mhm.
I mean, he probably had to know what his character was going to do a little bit, otherwise he may have turned it down. So hopefully it's not that bad.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, concerning part is that like there was a rewrite, right? But you know what, Favreau and Filoni kind of stepped in and said that, hey, listen, this script kind of sucks, so let's rewrite, and that's why like the production was pushed back a year. So hopefully, with Filoni and Favreau kind of like overseeing it a little bit and giving their 2 cents in the show and the script. Hopefully, we're not gonna have we're gonna have Kenobi as the main character.
Right.
We're gonna have Vader there. We're gonna kind of send those two.
Well, at least we
their
know
merry way.
at least we know that they can't kill him off because of A New Hope. So
Yeah,
that at least ties their hands a little bit. Thank goodness. So
Well, I think the whole thing is you're thinking, cool, we see Obi-Wan, and then everybody got really excited when they heard about Hayden Christensen. It's like, okay, maybe some flashbacks, but Vader's going to show up. And I think that was the other thing that got everybody excited.
yeah.
I still like my prediction that everyone's going to be a Palpatine. I think.
Oh no! Don't get me started. I'm gonna. You don't want me. You do not want me.
I'm just
Or
thinking.
like me.
I'm just thinking of the meme.
What the heck is he doing with his mouth?
I'm thinking of the meme with Oprah. You're a Palpatine, and you're a Palpatine.
Don't say those.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So it's a great it's a great segue into our main topic for tonight, which is expectations versus reality. Right? We're expecting this Kenobi show to blow us out the water. It's gonna be like one of the greatest shows, Star Wars shows or Star Wars content we've ever seen. We're getting Kenobi back. We're getting Sith Inquisitors. We're getting Anakin. We're getting Vader. We're getting that timeline where the Empire is ruling with a strong.
And I love the time
grip.
of the original trilogy, and I think that's why I love so much of Rogue One. And I love the books of Catalyst, because Tarkin is an awesome character that hasn't really been expanded upon. Could you imagine him doing another film in that time period, everything leading up to the first Death Star?
I think that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
Almost with this.
Yeah.
But there's so much room in the time period of the original trilogy, and you have the classic TKs. That was the best part of, Clone Wars is when you started to see, it's morphing into the TKs we know and love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
with that being said, there's a lot riding on Kenobi. I mean, I wouldn't say there was a lot riding on the Book of Boba, but it really disappointed a lot of people.
I think they felt with Book of Boba that, we can't do wrong because we've done so well with the other. And I think they just tried to stray away too far from the formula.
Well,
it
it also makes you wonder if they've been going after original characters to shut them down, destroy them, so that the new characters are what they push. Mando, Boba Fett's old. That was the problem we had with Boba Fett. If we knew nothing about Boba Fett, we'd still be like, the series was okay, but we were expecting a badass bounty hunter, and he was like, would you like a flower?
Well, I mean, there were even some things I didn't absolutely love about Solo the first time I watched it, but I mean, I would have made some slightly different changes to the way they did that. But the truth is, it's still an enjoyable movie. I didn't walk away hating Solo. I mean, I would have done a few things differently, but it was still really enjoyable. It's still a lot of fun. It's beautifully filmed. So I think as long as they don't try and break too many molds and go completely something different like they did with the sequels, then I think they already know what works if they'll just do it.
Yeah, if that's what their goal is. Yeah. That's what I was saying. The speculation is the mouse trying to destroy the original trilogy characters with what they've done. I mean, what they did with Luke in the sequels. Are they what they just did to Boba Fett in Book of Boba? I mean, because the thing is, Boba Fett in Mandalorian was exactly what we wanted him to be.
Yeah.
He was amazing. He was badass. He was tough. It's like, that's what I expected,
Well, hold that thought. Let me just finish what I was trying to say.
Holding. I will hold.
Let me go back.
Force ball.
Yeah, no, let me go back a little bit to set up whatever, the conversation. So basically, with everything, not only with like the Book of Boba, the prequels, Clone Wars, Rebels, sequel trilogy, there's Mando. Mando was considered to be more of a lot of side quests, right? The show was basically side quests, right?
But I liked it. I mean, that is a lot of what I like about Star Wars universe. Is I mean, like even seeing, because like up until a long time we didn't even see like food preparation in live action. And, we saw some of that in Force Awakens, some of it. So sometimes there's some really interesting things in live action, even if it's part of a side quest, as long as it's true to.
Well, it was a Razor Crest. I think we first saw a bathroom. We've never seen a bathroom in Star Wars.
No, but my main point is that there's always someone that is not happy with what's going on, but the original trilogy, no one can touch. You notice that pattern? Anything outside of the original trilogy, there's always someone. Prequels, oh yeah, there's all this digital stuff. Why did he do more prop stuff?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Jar Jar Binks.
But what's funny is if you go back and watch, because I love it. I'll watch Star Wars. I'll call it Star Wars versus A New Hope because that's what it was called. I'll watch that. There's all kinds of flaws and things that are like, oh, you can totally see the matting on this or whatever. But I still love it, and it doesn't destroy it for me. Like Book of Boba Fett didn't destroy Boba Fett for me. I still enjoyed it. It just wasn't.
Yeah, for you, but see, there's a lot of people that it destroyed Boba Fett.
Well, look at The Last Jedi. People were selling off their collections. They're like, I'm done with this Star Wars crap.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's similar. It's kind of like even when Lucas himself changed something as simple as who shot first. I think that impacted a lot of people because that's the whole point was later on, he didn't want it to come off like he was a bad guy. But the truth was he was, brash. He was a smuggler. He was, shoot first, ask questions later. So that little change had a huge impact. I mean, it's like there's like a riff in the community who shot first and there's T-shirts. And so something as simple as that and what they did with Boba Fett, he changed so much. It just in some ways, what was this ruthless and at times just kind of cunning and smart. They kind of made it. I mean, like the whole scene with him trying to like crawl on his knees, trying to chase down the little cooking droid, and it's like, okay, if you literally can't, as Boba Fett, get a little 2 foot tall little bobbly robot, it's like, then what chance do you have against a real threat? So I think that was. I didn't mean to talk too much, but that's what I'm thinking. Had an effect.
Yeah. So do you think like we are as fans like have like this expectations that like can be lived? Can we set the bar high, and that could be our downfall? Actually, in my opinion, it is our downfall because what people don't realize is that Disney didn't take Lucas's treatment for the sequels. Like they took it and they're like, oh yeah, see you later, Lucas. We're not doing this because you know why? They went back and looked at all the reviews for the prequels and how much people hated the fact of the midichlorians, hated the first and second episode, third episode not so much, but they were like, you know what? There is too much hate for prequels. We're not going to take George Lucas's story and we're going to like do our own thing. Because the last thing we need, we spent $4 billion on this franchise. The last thing we need is to get hate on the sequels.
There wasn't more Jar Jar Binks, I noticed.
I think the only difference for me is I will go and watch all of those movies, except maybe the last one. I've only watched that maybe one time.
Yeah.
I will watch them over and over, but Boba, I just couldn't. I mean, if you wanted to laugh a lot, I could do it, but
yeah,
I wouldn't just for fun go watch it again because the
Rise of Skywalker, or the Yeah.
I've tried to watch that one a
Are
second
you
time,
talking the
and I
last of the
kind of
prequels or the last of the sequels? Is what he's asking.
I'll watch the prequels. I'll play those, and the sequels. I mean, I watched Force Awakens a lot. I even watched Last Jedi a lot, more than
It
I
is,
thought.
and I think the thing is on there. Even though I don't like a lot of the decisions, it was beautifully filmed.
Yeah, I mean, even the ships and all the everything looked really good. But I do not think about going back and watching the Boba series, like just because.
Yeah.
Parts of it, a couple of the episodes.
Some of it was really good. The what is it, K2SO, all the Imperial droids, I love. That was my favorite.
I think it just doesn't draw us like we'll watch episodes of The Mandalorian like, oh my gosh, back to back. It's just like, okay, I can't wait. I'll play it on even on my phone while I'm working in the workshop or something because it's just awesome.
But do you think, and then I'll go to Scott after. Do you guys think that we set expectations way too high, and that like we can't, like nothing can live up to the original trilogy?
Yeah, I mean, I think so because I mean I don't think that's bad though because like his mother loved Boba. She didn't see anything wrong with it, but I think we all just it means so much to us that we want it to be. I hate to say perfect, but I mean everything we kind of do, it relates to all the films, and we kind of stop doing things that don't relate to it. So it's all we think about most of the time.
I don't think things can't live up to the original trilogy because I mean Rogue One to me was awesome. I mean I loved Rogue One. Solo I thought was actually really good. I like Solo more than most of the sequels, and I think personally more than the prequels. But it was very well done. It was tasteful. It was rather true to all the characters. Even if I didn't like every choice, I mean, I thought so. I mean, it's not like nothing can match. Here I am. I like Rogue One better than the original trilogy. So they are capable of it. So, and of all the people to have ownership of the Star Wars franchise, the IP, Disney is capable. They have the money. If anyone can make it work, they can. Do. So, it's not like, a studio or somebody who, I don't know what they can do with it or what they'll have at their disposal. Disney has everything at their disposal. So.
Or just have the writers take a little bit longer. We already wait a long time, but.
So maybe they want to have something at the beginning of this quarter and middle and second quarter of this year. And, I would be fine with them delaying a show an extra 6 months or even a year if it meant better content. So.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things too, is that like, I think because once they bought it, like 2 years later, right? 2-3 years later, we got The Force Awakens.
The cash flow awakens.
Yeah, the cash flow awakens. Like they want their money back, and I think that was the.
And I actually even enjoyed that movie. I mean, I know they actually kind of took the A New Hope and just kind of broke it down and kind of redid it for a new generation, and it was.
But it was more choppy. It didn't flow as well.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
but it did work. But I think they changed it when they had different concepts to move forward for the second, and then they kind of undid it for the third. I think that's where they didn't have a cohesive plan. Whereas Lucas, for the original trilogy, he knew where he wanted to go, and I mean everything he did to control it, even down to merchandising, and giving up points to. Giving up points and money just so he could maintain ownership for the second and third, so he could have the actual design that he had in mind. So
they had it. They had the story. They just didn't want to use it. Why? Because they listened to us. They listened to the fans. Why did George Lucas sell his franchise? Because he probably was like fed up of like all the hate. There was like a movie, Us versus George Lucas or something like that. I don't know, but it's just like we had the creator create movies for us, and we still weren't happy. You know, it's just like, you know, even with with some of
I didn't.
You know,
I didn't hate the prequels. The only
but
thing
there's a
is
lot of people that did though.
Yeah, I didn't hate the prequels. I think the biggest thing is, I think George Lucas felt like money and technology held back his vision. So I think he decided, I now have technology, I have the access to the money, and I think he wanted to make the most of it and that's why we got so much CGI and blue screen. But some of that was done in the original trilogy due to the limitations of the time, and that's what made it so good, and that's what made everything so grungy and just really cool and lived in. And I think we lost it when it went CG. So I don't think I hated it, but I think it lost some of its roots.
But that was George Lucas's thing, though. Like, he even tells like, you know, Filoni and Favreau was like, always try to push the limits with technology. Like, you know, Lucas, even given the fact that he didn't have a big budget for the first movie, he still pushed the technology. If you really watch that
and created technology, I mean,
and created
technology, with ILM and motion control, I mean, it was just, it was amazing.
And compare that to others,
and the
like
volume
sci-fi
now,
movies.
The volume is doing, it's the Unreal Engine, it's amazing.
Yeah. So. But let's go to Scott. Scott, what's your thoughts on like expectations versus reality? Your full thoughts. Do you think that us as Star Wars fans have our expectations way too high, and we're revolving every content that is, you know, sent to us, we compare it to the original trilogy?
Well, I think some things do, but if you have an original trilogy character, I think most people who originally saw, let's say Boba Fett, for instance, we saw Boba Fett in Empire, and then we saw him briefly in Return of the Jedi. But just in Empire, he's talking back to Vader. You know this guy's a badass. You know he's up there. And Vader's even warning him, no disintegrations. You know what I mean? Because he knows his MO, right? So you expect that. He gets kind of taken out a little quick, I guess, in Return, which is funny, you know, the whole thing. But we have that expectation of him. It's like we saw that in The Mandalorian. When they brought him into The Mandalorian, we saw that. When they did Book of Boba Fett, it was like whoever was on there, total disconnect, knew nothing about Star Wars, and tried to create this new character thinking nobody's going to pay attention to it. That's how it felt. And it feels like on some of the stuff when they're doing it, like with the sequels, that there's this disconnect from what Star Wars is. That's how it feels. It's like, oh, we're just making a movie. Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be for Star Wars, but whatever Star Wars. That's how some of those feel to me. Because with Star Wars, A New Hope, there was somehow the perfect storm. They got the right people together, and everybody as a whole made that thing happen. Yes, it was George's vision, and they made, but I mean, the first motion camera that was able to recall and go back and do. The model makers, the way the models looked, they could have looked like they were brand new shiny things. They didn't. They were dirty and dingy and all that other stuff that helped sell it. And that whole movie magic created the feels that we still pull back from 40-something years later. You know, Sean's been there. I'm there. I mean, we remember that whole thing. Yep. So I feel like some of the stuff, the disconnect is that you don't have Star Wars fans working on this stuff. You have Star Wars likers, if you will, not fans, not people that are really into it. So therefore, we automatically expect Boba Fett's going to be a badass, and then somebody writes him as he's, you know, frolicking through the meadows, because they think that's what he's supposed to do now. And it's like, no, I don't know. I guess that's so. Yes and no on that comment, and I went way over here, but hey, why not?
No,
right?
It's good. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Sean, let's go to you. What's your thoughts on like?
Yeah, absolutely. Star Wars fans have expectations, especially our age. I mean, when you're pushing 50 or over 50,
hey, easy
like,
there.
like, I mean, we grew up when Star Wars created just basically the basis for all science fiction, just the special effects and just the storytelling of it. So like you said, Scott, we have an emotional connection to it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people that are writing the new content, I bring up age, but it's like they don't have that emotional connection, because you hear there's a lot of people that talk about, the original trilogy, but the very first one they saw was Jedi toward the end. Like you missed 6 years of having that connection of, something that you've never seen before. And then, we do expect, like we always bring up Boba Fett because it's the most recent. And I mean, it all comes down to writing, I think. I mean, there was parts of Boba Fett that I enjoyed, they bring about the nostalgia, you get the feels on there, but the writing on that show was so just up and down. And I keep telling myself I want to go back and watch it consecutively and take out the 2 Mando episodes and see if I like it any better or if it even comes off any better.
You could probably get rid of the Vespa gang, episode 3 or whatever.
Yeah, or they 4. Yeah. I mean, those were stupid, but I think we just really bashed that. Like, I think it was just something that just added to the bad writing, and we just kept piling on the hate for it.
Even if you forget about it being Vespa's, the chase scene at 5 miles per hour, I don't think it was just the aesthetics of what they looked like.
It's like, you guys ever see the movie A Fish Called Wanda?
Yeah.
Where Ken's in the freaking steamroller. He's like, "Oh, it's Ken coming to kill me." Like, you see him standing there, and here comes the freaking thing. Yeah, it was that pace. It was that freaking slow for that.
Yeah.
I always thought for the Book of Boba Fett, and on tonight's episode, Boba once again forgets he has a jetpack. So it's like,
yeah, and then you got to think about like all the novels and the cartoons and stuff. Like when you start getting into that lore, it changes your mindset too about the future of Star Wars. Like, oh, you've got to start basing it off, like Clone War cartoons, not necessarily the prequels, but the cartoons. And I think it's different for each generation, because you think, in our little world, we're all pretty much, we think very similar, but there's probably just millions of people out there that probably like the new stuff,
And that's great. That's great. It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're 100% like picky about it. But even like when we were always, bringing up the Book of Boba shows, I always try to look like on the outside, because I could easily go in, I'm an OT guy, this thing sucks, that's not my Boba Fett. And I always try to like look through it through a different lens, I guess, and try to think like, okay, I almost try to put myself in the newer generation's shoes and say, okay,
don't do it.
but it was it's difficult though, because the writing was bad about it.
Yeah.
And that show,
and the flow.
And and then when you get the feels, you get those, you see the Sarlacc, you see the busted up sail barge. I mean, you see Slave One, you're just like,
we were only a few episodes in, and they dropped a little hint about like, I want to be able to write it. And it's like, okay, well, now that the big grand finale isn't going to be much of a surprise. It's going to be him writing a rancor. It didn't feel like that was like where they're going next. It's like, okay, well, there's one episode left. He's going to be writing the rancor, and it's like.
And it doesn't help that the sequels were just, the writing on that, it was just a complete mess. Yeah. And then you think you're saved by Mando. You're like, it was a lot of side quests in Mando, but that didn't bother me, because even
but Mando brought back those feels. I'm just going to say that show did that.
It did. And then you think, when you watch your favorite TV show, you've always got filler episodes.
Absolutely.
And that's the way I kind of looked at it. Like, oh, the side quests are just filler episodes, but you're still getting good Star Wars content. You're still learning about Grogu. You're still learning about Mando.
I was watching for wall panels and props, and there was plenty of those. There was awesome greeblies and containers and crates in every episode, and you got to see some different planets, and
Yeah, it's hard not to be picky, especially when you're an OT person. You know what I mean?
Well, you've also made up your mind or been shown this is that character.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you're going with that, and when it's something totally different, you're like, wait a minute. Yeah. That's not how so and so would do that. Yeah.
But even we talk about like when the prequels came out, I wasn't a giant fan of them.
Yeah.
Like and when I saw Phantom Menace, the first opening scenes, the Viceroy with those horrible rubber masks, and then I don't care much for a lot of CG. I like the mixture, which they finally got smart in Force Awakens. They kind of went back to old school. But like, I was picky about that back then, you know.
Right.
But I didn't walk out of the movies from the prequels like, oh my god, what did I just watch? I think over time is like, it's like, well, I mean, it was really good. You were blown away by the visuals, some of them like the CGI of the ships and things. But I think over time is like, man, you were left kind of hungering for some of the original, planets and grungy and smugglers and.
Well, and sometimes there's things like this, Benjamin. Music's the same way. You may hear an album or you see a film where you're like, okay, I think I like it, but I'm still trying to digest it and bring it in and see where I'm at. Whereas other things just hit you dead on, straight the first time, right? So, but over a period of time or listening to that again or seeing that again, all of a sudden it does start to click and you do totally get into it. So you've got those two sides that sometimes just happen.
And as much as I want to love it, it's whether it's an unconscious bias or whatever, it's what I am drawn to go back and watch more and more, obviously, is going to win.
Right.
So, even if I don't particularly hate a lot of things about any of those, I still find myself like, wait a minute, I'm watching the original trilogy, Rogue One, Solo, and Mandalorian like all the time.
And the other thing that's funny is the documentaries.
Yeah, and the documentaries.
Same
and the
here. I love
scenes.
those. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, so what is it about those that draws you in? And I think, but it's hard because depending on who you ask, some people like the prequels, some people love the sequels. So.
Yeah, because even in the sequels, like I'm one of the few. I enjoyed the Force Awakens, like because I kind of went into it like realizing, okay, they're trying to reinvent the Star Wars franchise for the newer generation.
It's a new audience, yeah.
Oh, dude, the trailer for that was like hair standing up, all the other stuff.
I really like that movie. That's one that when it's on TNT, like I just leave it on there and watch it. And we all know the actors are getting older, and eventually they're going to have to die off. And I actually like the Rey character. I thought they were going in the right direction. And then
I liked the Rey character.
And then you hit Last Jedi though. Yeah. It's like that was like, what is this? Like,
and I'm not against female characters. I mean, I love Jyn, the character of Jyn. And that was an awesome character.
But here's the thing: is that no one said that they didn't want any female characters. And in any of Star Wars, if anything, we got Princess Leia, who is our beloved, who's a strong female. Actually, in that era, like that, in the late 70s, you got Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley.
Oh yeah,
you got Jamie Lee Curtis as the sister of Michael Myers. It's like, what more how can we prove to all these people that, hey, listen, you got to give credit to the viewers. Like, we're not like big a-holes like you think we are,
Well, they did it. It's funny you mentioned Halloween, right? I started thinking of Friday the 13th, and I remember, I don't know if it was the first one she survived. Was it the first one? Anyways, but look at all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. They were all female characters that were the main ones that survived or were able to kill him off or something. Yeah. So we've been seeing that for years.
And the thing about the Force Awakens, when Rey was the main character, that didn't even cross my mind. I just thought it was a great character and it fit in well with the movie. And like that doesn't even that stuff doesn't even enter my mind. But a lot of people kind of bash it, especially when she says she's a Skywalker. That's just wrong.
They might have just been pushing it. I mean, the whole girl everything thing.
That film though for me felt choppy. It kind of jarred in the way that it moved. That was probably the biggest complaint I would have with The Force Awakens. It should have probably been a little bit longer or stretched it in a certain way because it just felt like we were like here and now we're here and bouncing, where the pace of like Star Wars, for instance, is pretty freaking dead on. The pace of Back to the Future 1 and 2 is pretty dead on. Those were good movies that it would end, and you're like, I'm not ready for this to end.
Yeah.
But Force Awakens for me, just it felt choppy. I thought it was good, but it felt choppy to me.
Yeah. So the reason why I brought this topic up, right?
Okay.
I've been seeing a lot of hate. I'm going to use the word hate for the Book of Boba. And I was on the
Force
stream
ball.
last week. What the hell?
Undo force ball. Force ball.
Yeah. No, but the thing is though, is that like, I was in a stream last week and Denobi, I love him, but he was like grilling me on like the Book of Boba. It's like, dude, all right, get it. All right. No one, you don't, hey, listen, okay, I get it. Some people say like, oh, I have my blinders on for the Book of Boba. I have my blinders on for a lot of Star Wars content. The only blinders I don't have on is for what's that called? For the sequels. Well, The Last Jedi Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. Just because
and the holiday special.
Even then, I actually like the holiday special because I'm a Star Wars fan, right? Like I understand. Like as long as they're not like veering away too far away from like the actual character, like with Luke Skywalker, like you go from saving your father who killed like a lot of like younglings and Jedis and people and destroying planets to like saving him, but for Kylo Ren, you just had like a feeling that he might turn to the dark side, and that was it. You're ready to kill him, right? It's like I don't understand that. And it's like with the sequels, like you miss an opportunity. You brought all these characters back to like destroy them and make make them look horrible. Han Solo is a bad father. Like he's an a-hole father who abandoned his son and his wife. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? I guess he's like a smuggler, but okay, all right, I'll give you that. But with Princess Leia, it's like, what? You make her do like a Mary Poppins move in like space? Like how ridiculous was that scene?
Yeah, but it's like at the end of Star Wars A New Hope, he was leaving for the reward, and then all of a sudden comes flying back in to save the day. Han Solo. Yeah. So that's the character that we see him as. So exactly what you just played out. A deadbeat father leaves it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Luke hates being a Jedi, I mean.
Yeah, doesn't want to help his sister.
It's like they wanted to get rid of the original characters so fast because they wanted to market the new characters.
There has been a theory that it has to do with IP and IP protection. So, like for instance, the reason RS can't do anything from the new movies is because of the court battle with the original TK with is it Andrew Ainsworth or I can't remember, but the way that the original trilogy pieces and IP were protected or not protected well enough. So they can't protect some of the oldest IP. So everything has changed. And Disney, that's one of the things Disney is extremely known for. eBay, they with their IP, Disney is so strong about protecting their IP. And if you think about it, over the years, they change the Mickey Mouse and other characters just enough. They even lobby constantly to have, laws and things extended to be able to protect their IP. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
so
which
every time a deadline comes up, they extend it another like 10 years, where it's like the original creator plus 20 years or 100, so as things are coming up to be, out in the open.
Yeah, but there's better ways to do things, right?
Sure.
It's just like destroying characters, and like, to be honest, that really hurt them in the long run, because you got no one buying. I mean, I'm sure there were quite a few collectors or people that were buying merch, but no one was buying Kylo Ren boxers or T-shirts or water bottles or even Rey. I haven't seen it. Maybe someone has. I mean, if you have, let me know in the comments down below. But along comes Mando and Grogu, and here we are. All these merch from Baby Yoda.
That's all new characters designed and brought out during Disney, is what I'm saying. So supposedly, one of the arguments is that they're bringing out new content that Disney is very good at protecting and slowly killing off the things like even the Falcon at Galaxy's Edge. They changed the
radar dish.
the radar dish, because basically that becomes new content, so it's no longer a 45-year-old design.
Yeah, but you got new content with Kylo and Rey. No one's buying those.
Right.
You know, like no one's buying like Finn. I mean,
no, I understand.
It's like God, like I don't know, Sean. How much did you sell your Finn for? It's like you know, it's like
sold them today.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of people are like, you could buy a Force Awakens Hot Toys Kylo Ren for $150. You know, Sith Troopers, Jet Troopers. You can't
Darth
sell
Vader 500.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I mean, yes, Rey has a special place in a lot of like people's hearts, but in the most part, a lot of those like Poe, like who wants to buy Poe?
And there's also a possibility, I have heard it said or suggested that maybe there are royalties associated with the old content that Disney has to pay royalties back to Lucas. So I'm not saying it's the smartest decision, but maybe they are trying to get into all new characters, all new ships, all new IPs that they
You know how you do that?
Well, yeah, they want their own thing. They want to pull off of their own thing. I don't know if they owe Lucas anything just because of the amount that he sold everything for, but they want their own thing and they want the old to be gone. But what's so funny is, what does Disney live off of? You know, if you go to the parks, it's the Matterhorn, it's Space Mountain, it's Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Everything, Cinderella, all that stuff is Disney.
Yeah.
From the 30s, from the 40s. But yet with Star Wars, they're like, nah, screw that old stuff. Only our new stuff you can see and be part of.
Yeah, and
but don't forget all of the old Disney movies, though, were much older that they made it in the 30s. So like all the different movies, even the new movies like Rapunzel and things like that, but Cinderella, those were much older things that they took and made it themselves that they could protect. Right. Yeah. So that might be them exactly following the same formula with Star Wars. Star Wars is popular. They buy it for whatever, $4 billion, but they have to change it enough that they can protect it moving forward as their own IP rather than something they've taken over from 45 years old.
You know how they could protect it and create new characters? Don't touch the Skywalkers. Don't touch it. Don't go back there.
I understand.
No. Okay, you want to do a Skywalker saga? Hey, how about you send them off nice and like you do a movie?
But don't forget, Don't forget, I'm not siding with them. I'm saying what I think their thought process is.
Yeah, which I totally understand. But again, there's better ways of doing it without destroying the characters that we love.
I'd love to see a whole nother movie similar to Rogue One, but on the Bothans and what led up to stealing the Death Star plans, or making arrangements leading up to Rogue One. I'm sorry, Return of the Jedi. So I mean, there's plenty more content to be done there. I mean, I'd love a whole bunch more content.
To be honest, I think at this point, like for me, like our expectations, like especially like everything's revolving around the Skywalker saga, the original trilogy. Like right now, like in terms of even Mando revolving around the Skywalker saga. I think the best way for Disney to move forward and have new characters is move away from it. Say your goodbyes to your characters, do them well, right? And then move on. Because you want to get the new like viewers and the younger audience. You're not doing it. You're just not. Like
but things like the Clone Wars, the animated stuff, did bring in a new audience, especially when they started to realize that more adults were watching it than kids.
Yeah,
that worked. Clone Wars worked.
Yeah, and I didn't watch it originally because I thought it was more of a kid's show. And whenever you started like watching, you obviously start at the beginning. It's like, oh yeah, I just didn't really care for it. And then people are like, no, watch it, but get through the first. And it does start to grow on you. So
yeah, but it had a strong base because of the prequels too. So you were interested to learn what happened in between the timelines. So I think that's what drew everybody to it.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as we circle around here, Obi-Wan does the same thing. We want to know what happened in that gap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's like, for me, it's pointless to bring these characters just to crap on them, right? Like, like people, okay. So with the Book of Boba, people are like, oh, it's the writing, right? But did you guys know that it was actually written by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni? Like, who else would you pick to write a Star Wars show?
Nobody, especially with Filoni. Filoni is hardcore fan, knows backstories of everything. I wouldn't have expected that. So I don't know what the purpose was to soften him up the way they did.
Well, here's the thing too, and I think you brought it up, Scott Barry, in another live stream. It's like almost like you're drinking as a young person, right? Like you get into like one near death experience and that's it, right?
That's it. You're done.
So
yeah.
you think about it, Boba Fett almost died. Like he was like swallowed by a freaking like Sarlacc pit. Like he's basically dead. Like, would you go? Like he even said it in the show. Like, man, it's not worth being a bounty hunter. I'm always killing someone and I'm almost getting killed.
Yeah.
At some point, you're gonna.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Robin.
No, I never know when to jump in.
No, jump in.
Does that still work though? Doesn't he go like back in another time looking for something? Like, was it that impactful, or was he just like, I don't know.
He's looking for his armor.
Doesn't he go back in looking for his armor? Like, actually go. So I mean,
yeah.
I'm not trying to kill it. I'm just thinking.
Oh no, he killed it though. I think he shot it with the Slave One.
Yeah. He crawled out, had it taken from him. He forgot he crawled out with it, went inside looking for it. So it was like, it was just.
But it's hard to say exactly what influenced him. I mean, whoever thought up all of that.
But also, I still don't know if Favreau and them had quite as much of the final, because like, not much got past them. I mean, like they wanted so many Easter eggs and so much research, whereas in everything Book of Boba Fett, like even for instance, when he crawls out of the Sarlacc pit, there's no damage on his jetpack from Return of the Jedi. That doesn't seem like something Favreau would have overlooked.
But Hot Toys got it right because they put that panel there.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
He wouldn't even had the panel yet because he was just in the.
True.
He was just crawling out. So that's the thing.
So here's the thing: is that like, so if you look at IMDb, right? Like, Favreau and Filoni wrote. Favreau wrote it, right? He created it. The executive producers for the episodes that people hated the most were produced by Robert Rodriguez.
Right.
So when was the last time Robert Rodriguez did a great movie besides Spy Kids?
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, Spy Kids.
Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Besides Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think the response was, oh my gosh, Mando, that scene, the Boba Fett, where he came out, kicked ass. Who's that?
So a couple of things.
Episode was really quick, Ben.
Yeah.
That episode was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Interesting, yeah.
So guess what? If you're thinking, oh my gosh, like he killed it. Hey Robert, I wrote this this script for the Book of Boba. Take it away.
So a lot of people I think really loved that episode of Mandalorian. I thought it was good, but I actually didn't love it as much as I love others. So I noticed a lot of things in the filming. So I noticed a lot of, I hate to say amateurish techniques and things, but like some of the scenes, like people are like where he's like literally holding up the gaffy stick and coming down. Some of the speed ramping and some of the way they cut between scenes, I don't think it was well directed. So I think people love that he was like in their face and violent, but the thing was, I don't think it was done well. And then the one scene where the ship came in and more stormtroopers came rushing out, that whole thing was very CG. I don't know if it's because they didn't have the right pickup shots of like live action. It was very CG looking of like, character animation running out. So I don't know if he missed some shots, if it wasn't well storyboarded. Some of the shots with like the gaffy, it was just speed ramped in an odd way. So I didn't love it as much as some people did. So I noticed it even back then. I was like, and I thought of it more like it was the same kind of action that you saw in some of his older stuff. What was Rodriguez did like, some of the more violent older movies.
Yeah, but it's similar to his style, in terms of like, like his direction. Like if you watch Desperado and some of those like scenes, it's pretty like similar, especially with the Book of Boba.
It's very similar.
Yeah. But I mean, that's Robert Rodriguez's style. But anyways, long story short, like you can't blame Favreau and Filoni for like thinking like, hey, we got the right guy to do this Western style like show, which they were trying to predict in their head. because Robert Rodriguez did like Desperado and some other like, Dust Till Dawn and things like that. Like they were like, all right, let's hire this guy, not realizing that he's gonna like give us Vespa gangs and realize things like that. The most loved episodes were the Mandos, which were not produced by him and directed by someone else.
Yeah.
I think it was simply a miss. I think he tried really hard.
Yeah, but I think what it is too is that Boba Fett, in terms of like the storyline, because I always think of the storyline. I understand where they were going with that. Like they wanted to like this guy was the biggest, baddest, like bounty hunter of all of the galaxies, right? But gets into a near-death experience, realizes like, hey, listen, I can't do this for the rest of my life. I'm going to die doing this. Let me just scale back and try to do something good. Like, because he got rescued by the Tusken Raiders. And, sorry.
We're resorted to raising our hands. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm raising my hand because I don't want to interrupt, right? But my first thought is, okay, I don't want to be a bounty. I don't want to be a badass. I want to go, be nice and all this other stuff. So what's the first thing he does? I'm going to be a mob boss is almost what he's doing, right? He takes out Biff Fortuna and says, I'm going to rule, which still comes across to me as I'm a badass.
Yeah.
Don't cross me. I'll take you out. And then he just goes completely soft,
Well, he shot Biff Fortuna because he screwed him.
Yeah,
right.
But that's the badass Boba Fett that we know.
Well,
when we saw that at the end of the season 2, we're like,
they didn't really flesh out how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I'm sure he did a bunch of bounties for Jabba, but he basically killed everyone in the palace except for the Gamorrean guards. There's no one else.
Salacious Crumb.
Yeah, person. But there's no one like for Boba to like get revenge on, basically, right?
Right.
There's really nobody. It was, So I think, to me, I understand where they're going. It's Favreau. Who else would you pick to write this show? It's Favreau and Filoni. Who would you want?
Right.
I'm sorry. I think it's just got executed poorly, which I totally get. I just think like the story is there, just executed poorly. But brings me to a point is that they're having a Disney gallery, in a May the 4th. So we get to see
the thought process, I guess.
Yes, hopefully. That's true, Robin. Hopefully we get to see what's they sit in a round table like they did for the first season of Mando, and they're like,
they'll have to be titled "Who Done It?" Like, whose idea was this?
They didn't do that.
They're all drunk.
I know, right? Like, Robert Rodriguez, you brought like the Spy Kids aspect into it.
Yeah, but even like the one episode.
What if the storyboard is literally like the Spy Kids being held up like the reference?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like you can even see like even the episode with like the chasing down the
Vespa gang.
Yeah, the Vespa gang. Okay. A lot of that it wasn't how it was on paper, but how it was filmed. And I mean, like, so it could have been, I mean, they could have had swoop bikes. That would have changed a lot right there. They could have, so I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that the writer, I mean, like we already know, okay, for instance, that first episode that Rodriguez did, he bragged about that they gave him like 3 pages and he turned it into a 17-minute fight scene, of Boba Fett kicking butt in that episode of The Mandalorian. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he brags about taking 3 pages of script of writing and on his own turning it into like a 17-minute fight scene. So a lot of the stuff that may have been written by Filoni and them, it doesn't mean that Filoni had written in the scenes of like them crashing through like a fruit stand and like the guys having like robot hands, like where the little flamethrower picks out and he's like trying to attack this, cut the fins off the thing. So a lot of what we may not like doesn't mean that Filoni and Favreau wrote it.
Yeah, and that's my main point is that like I think like the best your ability, right? Like you like in anything. When you hire like your number one, I'm gonna go to sports. I'm sorry, but like you have the number 1 draft pick. You think you got the right player, but he ends up turning to be a dud. So that thankfully, it was on TV as a TV show, so we could kind of like, all right, whatever, brush it off. It's a TV show, and not like a legacy trilogy movies, like the sequel trilogy movies, right? Because I know there was a YouTuber that was saying that the sequel trilogies were much better than the Book of Boba, and I'm like, man, it's 420. I want to get some of the good ganja that guy is smoking, because the fact that a 7-minute character gets his own show is not to everyone's liking, is not the end of the Star Wars universe. Having Luke Skywalker and mistreating him the way he got mistreated in The Last Jedi is detrimental to the Star Wars universe, because what did everyone like in the original trilogy? Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, you're destroying a legacy.
You're destroying legacy. You're not bringing all those legacy characters back on the same time. Han Solo, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca, even Lando.
I always rooted for the Empire, even from the original trilogy. So
yeah, but not to see them all on the same screen together was such a huge miss. And you had the resources, so I think that was like a really outrageous like comment by this YouTuber. In my opinion, hey, he could. That's his own opinion.
I just don't get worked up about like stuff, and I would never like write articles about I hated this and this and this. I mean, I think it just comes down to it's not my favorite that they've done.
Yeah, exactly.
We've already said we don't like drama.
Thank you. That was such a simple comment. And you know what? I know Star Wars has a lot of issues. Man, I sat through the first Clone Wars movie and I almost wanted to punch Panda.
That was rough.
Cute as they are, but that was very frustrating. But you know what came out of that? Ahsoka. Ahsoka was the most annoying character in that movie. But guess what now? She's the most beloved, one of the most beloved Star Wars characters.
That may not have been the plan from the beginning. They might have actually tweaked it moving forward. So they could have even done that.
I've seen articles.
Sequels.
I've seen articles titled like, I don't remember what all it said, but it was like the Ahsoka problem. Like they knew it was irritating people, so they did change it. But I wish they were doing more of that, where they were like, "Oh, we screwed up." Like,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, even Star Wars, Luke started off as this whiny boy, right? And then we started to watch him grow, not only as an actor but also as a character, until he gets to Return of the Jedi, and it's like, I'm a Jedi like my father. You know what I mean? He's very confident and all that other stuff. And then they take him to the next point and make him just immediately old and grumpy and pissy and fades off. That's what got, I think, most of us upset.
Disrespect.
Point. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just
they turned Luke Skywalker into Jeremy Clarkson.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they did. Yeah.
So, for me as a Star Wars fan, like I said, I sat through the holiday special. I sat through like a lot of horrible like content. But at the end of the day, I still love it. You're right. I don't say the only thing and I'm so sorry if I'm beating a dead horse, but the only thing I can't stand is the Last Jedi.
Just keep beating it.
Well, the thing is, you bring up the holiday special. You bring up the holiday special. So Sean probably remembers this too. When that aired on TV, we were so excited to watch it. I didn't remember crap off of it afterwards, but I loved every second of it just because it was Star Wars on TV.
Yeah.
Even though it's horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, but you still enjoyed it though.
Absolutely. At that time I did, yeah.
Yeah. So it's that for me as a Star Wars fan, because then should we separate like the Star Wars fandom? Hey, I'm a prequelist. Hey, I'm a sequelist. I'm an original OG. No, I think if you love Star Wars, you should appreciate, even though it's like the Fast and the Furious, right?
Yeah.
Man, like I can't believe they're up to 10, but at the same time, there's still Fast and the Furious fans just loves it, right? They just love it because they just
can't get enough.
Can't get enough. So it's like Star Wars fan.
I also think, again, something with the whole Star Wars thing, depending on which one you saw first, I think age had a lot to do with it. I was 7 when Star Wars hit. Gabe, it was Return of the Jedi. That was the first one he saw. Robin, it was a prequel, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to
She's
say.
like, I'm 21, so it's
No,
like,
no. I'm 32. He's 41.
Yeah, but how old were you when the first Star Wars movie, regardless of what it was? How old were you?
I mean, elementary school. I don't know.
Exactly. What I'm trying to key on here is the age. I think there's something in that 6 to 10-year-old that just shapes you, that you just glue to certain things.
But I didn't grow up around the original, so I had no idea what was going on when I saw a glimpse of the prequels. Like, no one explained that. But when we got together and I was catching up and watching all the making of, what was the one on YouTube?
From Star Wars to Jedi.
I started watching that over and over, and Empire of Dreams
because
all
that's
the time.
what I grew up watching. I watched the making of from Star Wars to Jedi more than the actual movies themselves, because I loved, like, how did they make this?
I do think I based what I do now on, like, trying to fill the entire house off of catching up on the original. I don't base it off of.
Right.
Yes, I did catch up on the prequels again, and then I watched.
Well, I mean, like, how many props do we have in the house that's from the sequels? None.
No.
Or from the prequels?
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't mean I hate them.
The point that I was making is which one you saw young first, and
it would have been ruined. It would have been ruined if I had based it off.
And of course, people are going to be drawn to that.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, I think part of the reason I love the. Cause you guys have heard me before, but I love the Alien movies.
Yeah.
Me too.
Particularly the first Alien movie is because I love the care and the backstory and the iconography that went into that. Even like all of the logo design on the Nostromo is fascinating to me, which is the same kind of care that was given to Star Wars, and I love that.
But I do think it's better to
but it was
base
also
it off.
But I also watched it as a kid. It was one of those movies when I was like really young, and I remembered when I watched the first Alien, it was like I had the flu, and it was like, what do you want to watch? I was like, I want to watch like a scary movie, and that was my first time watching Aliens with my dad. When I had the flu, and he was like, fast forward through the scary parts, or the bloody spot, parts or something. But it's that's probably just that age. It was probably the same kind of age when I watched it, that same connection for most people with their first Star Wars experience.
But I do think they're going for different. They're not going for the OT fans with the new shows. No. They're absolutely just people that are paying to go to Disney World every year. That's who they're aiming at, and that's not always the best for the bigger picture.
Yeah.
For
like
they said,
far
with
from
going
Death Star, exactly. Yeah.
I really hope that like Favreau and Filoni, like they have like cojones like Kevin Feige, where they go, Disney, don't come near this studio right now. Get out of here, all of you guys. And that's what Feige does. He makes sure that everything is like there's Easter eggs that connects to this movie and that movie and this movie. He does an amazing job. So I really hope that Favreau and Filoni are the same way. Yes, Robin.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, I eventually get there. Somebody said it earlier with the books. You want it all tied. You want it to all tie together. You don't want to be reading. I mean, unfortunately, there might be a little bit that's off, but reading all the legends and all of the what they call the canon novels, you don't want to have like a weird TV show pop in. Like,
yeah,
you want to be able to do them. Some people want to do them all in order. I mean.
Yeah, and regardless of the story, I think what Feige has going for him is he goes into everything with the plan, the outcome. Yeah, and it seems like with the others, it's like,
you go do your Star Wars film. You go do your Star Wars film.
Yeah.
It's like a Disney creator.
And some of the sequels, they gave it to someone because he had said in interviews, like, I want to do a Star Wars movie so divisive that half the people will either hate it or love it. And
why?
If it were me, I'd be like, no, I wouldn't want to give a Star Wars movie to someone that wants to be, it was divisive. And they,
Yeah, but can you imagine if Kevin Feige was overseeing Star Wars? He would have stepped in and kicked him out. You know?
So I think that's what I'd like. I think that would give it more love and an end game,
I did think of something. So what makes the original movie so good is you have people paying attention to all the details. So now you trained everybody to watch for every detail on everything, whether it's the costumes or the music or everything. And now you're presenting stuff where we're all just picking it apart. Maybe we are picky, but we've been kind of set up to do that.
And that's what happens in all the Marvel movies and credit scenes and hidden things and things on a coffee mug and how it plays into you know
how you get new fans.
picture.
You know how you get new fans is getting the, like for me as a father, like I have 3 boys, right? Like when I bring them to a Marvel movie and they love it and I love it, and we all come out of movie theaters and we're all talking about it. And I go back to my knowledge in comic books and start telling them, okay, Doctor Strange has this power and Spider-Man has this power. And you start explaining it and you're passing down that knowledge and lineage down to your kids.
Know your audience.
Yes. Yeah. But with Star Wars, can you imagine if my kids were with me when I watched The Last Jedi? I would have been like, Dad, what's that? Why is Luke Skywalker? Don't talk to me right now, son.
Yeah,
don't
Dad,
talk
why are you saying the F word a lot?
Don't talk to me for a couple days, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and back to Disney, this is where I don't understand with Disney is that Disney knows that there's a lot of adults that are big-time original trilogy lovers that if they would allow the original Stormtroopers to go through the parks, even if they changed it up and they went through the thing, or they offered more products that are original characters than what they're doing, that kind of stuff. You're then hitting your audience.
And
who's
like
buying the freaking holocron tickets?
Sure,
kids.
Yeah, so I love Galaxy's Edge because even though it does take place in a newer time period, the overall look of the overall look of the park still is very true to the OT, the original trilogy.
Right.
It doesn't. You're not walking around like, an entirely different world. It still feels like a Tatooine type planet, and it's very cool. Now, I'm personally not as interested in the Halcyon because that feels entirely disconnected from the original trilogy and seems like it's an experience that's completely set in the world of, First Order.
I mean, except that if you could, if you had money set for that, if you love Star Wars, you would go check it out. So I mean, they did bad, but they did good. So I don't know.
How cool if that bridge was off of a Star Destroyer? How cool would it be if they had a Tatooine floor and a Hoth floor?
Yeah, I mean, instead of it being, I would love it if the Halcyon instead was like, come in and work on a freighter for a week on, on a ride, to getting, picking up a ride to get you to a planet on
quarters would have been awesome. Yeah, I mean, like don't do it all like a
work on, instead of working on a bridge where it's all clean, work in like a grungy, an experience inside the engine room where you're literally like cleaning.
I can see how that would be cool for some, but I could see some people going, "Oh hell no, I'm not giving you $6,000 to go work in the engine room."
$5,000 cheaper,
yeah. But I mean,
empty the trash compactor for the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still cool that they're doing it and they've got this thing to offer. I think it's too expensive, in my opinion. I think it's cool that they're doing it, but also think about what they could have done or could still do. Wouldn't it be cool to watch Darth Vader walk down through Batuu or
sure.
Any of that stuff, just to bring some of that back into the people that are paying the freaking money right now.
We would have gone every year instead of every 4 or 5 years. I mean, if they had done a little bit more.
Yeah. So. But, I don't want to dive in too long. It's already 2.5 hours.
Sorry.
No, it's great. So. It's great because I always say that. I always tell Sean, it's like, hey, man, we're going to do it an hour and a half. That always goes out the window.
Yeah, that never. I don't think we've ever done that show.
No, I don't think we've ever done that show. But long story short is that like I'm gonna just leave everyone with this. So I work in healthcare, and I actually was taking care of a patient. It was a kid, and who loves Star Wars, and I wish that you guys got to meet this kid. I mean, this guy was like
be 501st.
I know, but he.
That'll happen.
I know exactly. No, but like he was like listening. He had his iPod, I don't know, like some music player, MP3 player, music player, and iPhone. and he was listening to all the Star Wars music, and he was only 8. He was listening to like all the original trilogy, all the John Williams stuff, including the Clone War. And I talked to him, and I was like, "Hey, what's your favorite?" Like, I'm expecting him to talk about. He talked about the original trilogy. He gave me all the information about Boba Fett, Darth Vader, and I was like, yeah, and it was crazy. His mom was there, and his mom was like, "Oh, I'll leave you two guys alone," And I'm like, "Damn, I wish he was my son." No, I'm just kidding. I love my kids. I love my sons. I wish I could adopt this kid because I can only imagine bringing this kid and watching a Star Wars movie, and we're like, "Yeah," but it's just that I think for me with Star Wars, I'm always gonna be a kid, right? I'm always gonna love 95% of the content, and I know there's some hits and misses, but at the same time, we're getting Star Wars content, and I think that's what we wanted when Disney bought Star Wars, was that we're gonna get this content. Not all of them are gonna be perfect, not all of them are gonna be great, but at the same time, we get to see these characters on the big screen and see their story play out. And that's one thing as a kid you always wished to see on the big screen, whether it be Marvel. Hey, I wish they would make an Avengers movie, all to come together. How cool would that be? Hey, we got it. Oh,
the holiday special. The holiday special. The whole thing. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I think Hugh wanted to say.
No, go ahead.
Okay, it's all right. We don't know how many kids, but there's 8 kids in the family, 14 and under, and the youngest is 4, and he always wants to come over and watch one specific episode of Mando over and over
with the sand shark,
land shark. He calls it the crate dragon,
the crate dragon,
the land shark.
But he's latched onto that at 4. I mean, I can't get him to watch the other stuff. I mean, so that's interesting what happens with the kids, but I've also trained him really well. I didn't mean to, because I think I mentioned it twice. But I tried to get him to pick up the Ewok plush, and he wouldn't do it. I said, "Well, it's okay." And he goes, "That's not a toy." He goes, "I can't touch that." Because he thinks it's like the lightsabers. Where I'm
everything over here is...
Look with your eyes and not with your hands.
Oh, that's
so now he won't...
well.
Yeah. I feel bad because I'm like, what have I done to him? Because now he won't pick up the toys. But yeah, he likes Mando, so... They've done a good job on that one.
Yeah, I just think that with Favreau, especially with the streaming content, because to be honest, Disney does not have a lot of content. No. Most of it is the stuff that we watched over again. Who's gonna watch The Simpsons again? Who's gonna it's cool, but at the same time, I think they're missing a lot of new shows, because if you
and I don't know if you guys so much footage of behind the scenes. Not only do they need to put all the bonus disc and extra footage into Disney Plus from all the movies, but they could actually do more behind the scenes that aren't even available on Blu-ray for each movie.
Yeah, but main point is that I think with Favreau and Filoni, I think Disney is relying on them so much that they have to put out so much content.
Maybe they're overextended a little bit.
Exactly, because they're doing Mando season 3, they're doing Book of Boba. I mean, Favreau's writing all this shows, right?
Maybe that's why he let Robert Rodriguez do more. Maybe that's how it happened.
I think Robert Rodriguez and anyone else.
Thank you.
Well, but that's what we're saying. I think that they are actually either they're expanding a lot more off of, like I said, he was given 4 pages and turns it into 17 minutes. I think that's the whole thing, is that
maybe that was everybody
it may be his name on it and he may be writing it, but I think he can't do everything and be everywhere. So I think you are going to see more of these other people's fingerprint on whatever they make, even if they're starting with his vision.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, I really think that they're focusing on Ahsoka. I think they're really banking on that show. I just think that right now, I really think that for Disney to be successful and get the audience that they want, I think they got to move away from the original trilogy. I think they got to move away from the Skywalker saga. I think they got to focus on
I was
like
really excited about the Rogue Squadron time period of the original trilogy, but all new characters.
I hope they pull more from Clone Wars and Rebels because those were great.
Yeah, those were great
Good
too.
point. Yeah.
But like Old Republic, oh my gosh. If they do Old Republic, you know how much content they could put out, they could give us from all that.
I want to see Bosk on screen again.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
maybe like Boss, but with a little bit touches of like original trilogy. They're not like focusing on like, okay, we're gonna bring Boba, we're gonna bring just
but like,
I
just to see them.
So I envisioned going an entirely different direction with the ending of Book of Boba Fett because we had, I jokingly call it Black Crouton or Black Kazakhstan because I can't remember chrysanthemum, the flower, but you know the Wookiee, you know, he had such a disdain for Trandoshans, and then Mandalorian when they brought him in originally had such a disdain for droids, and then took on a liking to IG-11. I really thought that they were going to tie all of that together with bringing in Bosk and IG-88. So now once again, Mandalorian was going to have to put up his wall about working with an IG-88, which is totally different than the IG-11 that he came to love. And I thought that Black
Chrysanthemum
was going to now have to do the same thing and actually put aside his hatred of Trandoshans. I thought that would have been a really interesting, and I thought that's what they were building towards.
Yeah.
But no.
Taken away.
All right, before this turns into like a 4-hour show, we're gonna
let's do this.
We can do it. We can do it.
Maybe like in the May the 4th. Yeah, I know. May the 4th. I got work tomorrow. May the 4th, I'm doing an all-day live stream, so you guys are more than welcome to come back.
Okay.
And we could talk all day long because I'm doing a pretty much an all-day live stream. So anybody that wants to come on the show, you're more than welcome. Hit me up. We're gonna do.
I will let you know.
Yes.
I may be wearing my Imperial officer uniform though.
Oh,
maybe we both would. That would be hilarious.
Oh, that'd be
awesome.
sick.
Not comfortable completely, but funny.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to the Bowmans. Thank you, Robin and Ben, for
we had a lot
coming on the show. I hope you had a great time. Sorry it took a little long, but regardless,
it wasn't too controversial.
No, it wasn't. I think that was pretty. I think we're on the same boat. I think I felt like we're, even though like we all had like a little bit of disagreements, but I think in the most part, I think we all agreed that like I just think that Disney needs to step up and maybe give us just, I don't know, like maybe just stop thinking about the money. I think it will come organically. Just start giving us good quality content. But thank you. We definitely have to bring you back and talk more about like your Etsy shop. You want to plug that in real quick, Ben and Robin?
A lot of the new things I'm working on aren't yet on the shop, but if you'd like to check out the things that I do have on there, feel free. It's Bowscar, Bowscar.
Let me just let me stick out this banner so we can see.
Sure.
How they spell it.
Yeah. So it's really easy to find. But right now, one of the things that we do have on there is we do have lightsaber stands, some blaster stands for several different blasters. That's how a couple people stumbled upon us and found us, and that's how we started coming on some of the shows. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I have a lot of attention to detail. So even if you have something you want custom made for a lightsaber, you can reach out and I'll work with you.
Where can they hit you up first of all?
Are you talking about on the Etsy or
can they message? I don't buy a lot.
Yeah,
you can message through Etsy.
You can message me straight through Etsy.
Awesome.
But you can also, I'm Benjamin Asher. Asher is my middle name on Instagram, and it's easy to find me on Facebook too.
We work from home. We're here all the time, so we answer any questions or just visit with everybody. So
a lot of it's stuff I wanted for myself, and I was just spending so much time, and I thought, well, I might just go ahead and offer it and see if anybody else wanted the same thing. And I've been pleasantly surprised that people like it. So.
And Benjamin is extremely detailed and has really high quality work because that's how he looks at it. Yeah.
Well, can you show us I don't know if can you show us if it's okay.
No, that's fine. I just didn't want to turn it into a show about me. So I sent actually a package today to Sean and a package to Scott Berry. Sean actually wanted, let me cover it so you can see it. So we actually sent out some cork coasters.
So effing sick.
These are off of we have a commercial laser. So this is lasered onto cork. And then, we have some other things we're working on. Actually, you haven't seen some of these, but working on some different things, earrings and things. God. This is laser cut wood, and we're doing things out of acrylic. So even for 501st guys for our Pelican cases and stuff, I'm focusing on that. So even in Arabic or English, the things that we can put on our Pelican cases. So
I think he's making stuff that he can't find, and we bought the laser to prototype some other stuff, but it's
look
handy,
at that.
So.
Yeah. That looks like a lightsaber hilt.
Yeah, so this is actually my
That's what she said.
Aha.
Yeah, we need Michelle.
That's so nice looking though.
That's so nice. So that's sick. That looks like really like a lightsaber hilt. That looks like Vader's lightsaber hilt.
So that is the logo for the Tarkin Initiative. So a little backstory for Rogue One, because Rogue One's my favorite. So
we have a bunch of stuff that he's already shown now that we have to get active on there, but then he's working on 20 or 30 other things like this, and then overall maybe several hundred things.
Well, you also asked about challenge coins earlier, and I'm working on stands for those, and I already have a stand for the thermal detonator, and I'm sending one to Eben. And I have some stands halfway designed for the grav charges, and then I'm working on lightsaber clips, belt clips out of leather. So I have a whole bunch of fun things I want to do for myself, and when I get them done, I'll share them with everybody else.
That's really cool, man.
That's cool. So Boscar on Etsy. So definitely, guys, please support.
And you're welcome to follow my Instagram. I've been putting more Star Wars content on there for longer, and I just recently started mirroring over everything I post now shows up on my Facebook. But for a while, I was only on Facebook just for the Star Wars groups, so I really wasn't posting anything on there. But now there's so many people that follow us on there. Whatever I post to Instagram now shows up on our Facebook. So
awesome. Well, definitely hit up the moments on Boscar on Etsy, and follow them on Instagram. Thank you, seriously, amazing work, amazing work. Especially those. I'm gonna be biased. Those coasters look effing amazing.
I sent.
Thank you, Sean. That's good, man.
2 new coasters I've never shown to Scott and Sean. So I think when you get those, you'll.
Thank you.
I threw some freebies in there too.
It's nice to meet you in a way. It's different than being in the chat for sure, but we appreciate you letting us hang out.
Yeah, this was what we wanted.
Absolutely.
Same here.
Thank you. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope you guys had a lot of fun. That's the main thing about our show is that it's as long as you like Star Wars, maybe if you like the Last Jedi, I might kick you out like instantly. No, I was kidding.
I love to talk about Clone Wars. So I mean, if somebody's like, "Who's Ahsoka?"
I can appreciate that it was beautifully filmed, even if I disagree with a lot of the choices they made in the story.
Oh yeah, it is. I'm not going to take that away from them. Yeah, it was beautifully filmed. But all right, let's go, Scott. Scott, again, seriously, thank you. Always
absolutely, thank you, man. It's always great to hang with you guys. Yeah,
Piano Man.
Piano Man.
Piano Man. I am so sorry. I was so tired. I felt so bad.
I've done it with some other things too, where it's like the simplest thing, and you can't remember, and it's like, why? It's called old age.
Yeah,
you're 30 now.
I'm just gonna start calling you a force ball. So
force ball. Force ball. There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant. Like force ball. I thought you said force wall. Like you were.
Yeah. No, I think it was Benjamin. Was it Benjamin or was it Sean?
I jokingly said it first. And then
force ball.
Well, another thing we're appreciative to finally see you, Sean, because we've been like chat buddies for like a year almost.
Yeah.
I think. And it's nice to chat a little bit outside of that.
Yeah, it's
We're
awesome.
all normal people.
Yeah, we're not crazy.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit.
I mean, like when it comes to Star Wars, maybe we're a little crazy, but but in terms of like our show and like what we're trying to promote is like basically like we welcome everyone, and we all love the same thing, which is Star Wars, and that's one thing that
starting a couple of years ago, we really wanted to start focusing on Star Wars. This is what we wanted was to be able to start really connecting with Star Wars people, and that's been awesome.
So. Yes. All right. So again, thank you to Scott. Thank you to the Bowmans, Robin, and Ben. Sean.
Another one in the books.
Another one in the books. I definitely wanted to mention. So we are trying to see if we can record next week's episode a little earlier because Sean is going to ICCC, hopefully to meet some amazing Star Wars actors.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah. So briefly tell us what hopefully you're trying to do over there in the con.
Yeah, I'll try to film some too, and then we can upload it just so everyone can kind of see the convention hall and just kind of get a feel for it. And then we'll see.
Get some autographs. Oh man.
Yeah, if they don't take my phone away, because like you can't film that. You didn't. Pay
Just
for it.
do what I do. So I have like usually a pocket, and I just put my phone there facing this way.
Oh, there you go.
And then I'm like, oh, okay.
Do a video about that. That would be funny.
Do you walk around the con like that? You're like, hey.
No. When I'm meeting someone like actually, I met the boys like panel. I mean, the cast of the boys in New York Comic Con. So they didn't want filming, so I put my phone on my front pocket, and I was just like, hi. And then and then the girl, Karen, I can't say her name. She's she doesn't really talk in the show. She's Asian. So she's like, she noticed it. She's like, that's very smart. And she was like all for it, like, hey, that's
like good
smart.
for you.
You should actually really put a lot of thought into it. You need to design like a miniature probe droid on like a stick.
Oh, that would be sick.
Eye actually be like a hero session or something. You should do that.
Just tape your phone to your head.
Because everybody would be looking at, what is that? It's like, oh, this is my probe droid, and then they're looking at it.
Ian McDermott. Can you say hi to my mom? No, I was kidding. But anyways, so we're looking forward to listening to some of Sean's stories. I know I'm going to be super jealous because I can't make it out there, but I am going to be.
Is it going to be called? Would be like the Solo Chronicles?
Yes.
Kind of like the Lando Chronicles.
It could be.
We should edit that video and call it the Solo Chronicles.
Yeah.
So but I can't wait for you to go there and meet some like those actors and tell us more about the con when you come back. So
yeah, hopefully I can get some good footage on that Friday because there's only going to be like maximum 350 people in there. So you could probably get a good layout of the land without just thousands of people on top of you. So hopefully that'll be a good day to get some footage.
Awesome.
Are we going to try to do the show maybe next Tuesday instead of Wednesday?
Yeah, we're going to see it. Well, let's see how you're,
how I'm feeling.
How you feeling? Because I know you're going to be getting ready for the con. So, but yeah, we'll let everyone, know when we're going to stream or we're going to do the show. So, all right, guys. So that wraps it up. Thank you for listening and watching us. And may the midichlorians be with you guys always and forever. Good night.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.